We're on. Hello everybody, good evening. Look below me, in the box below, you'll find Mark Price. That's not Duncan, it's Mark. Well, Mark's here. Sorry, no, we love to have you. We some of you may remember Mark joined us for an excellent commentary on Dawn of the Dead, where Mark and I got pretty wobbly. It was kind of brilliant. So Mark's having a Negroni. I'm drinking water at the moment.
Inspired by our last one, I have a thermos of whiskey sour as well.
Fantastic work! I love that. It's just efficient. It's just efficient use of whiskey sour.
Duncan's let himself go. Someone tweets. No, he has. Duncan henched up more.
Yeah, it's an upgrade. I can say that because Duncan's on holiday. He won't watch it. It's fine. Big thanks to Andrew Capitz, who's dropped his customary £10 in PayPal already, which is very kind of you, Andrew. You do it every week. And I saw that pop in earlier. If you're using PayPal, I'll be checking that out because Duncan normally administers the PayPal, you see, Mark, but I'll be doing it myself tonight. So Mark's been on the channel a few times, as you may have noticed, and this is his second live stream. So this is all, easy street for you, mate. You know what's what.
Yeah,
No
I dive in with foul language. That's my contribution.
That's what I do, so it's fine. It's the sweariest live stream on the internet.
I have little memory of the Dawn of the Dead one, but I just believe there was lots of swearing.
I ended up ordering like a massively dirty kebab meat pizza off because I was just absolutely fucking trolleyed. I meant to say, Limmy, this is thanks to Dan Lyles, regular Val Verde and Dan Lyles told me this. Limmy, he streamed Erica the other day on his Twitch, the game that Duncan's in.
I saw that.
I caught up too late because I'm not on Twitter anymore, and Ellie put it in our group. It's like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ. Oh shit, Ellie, if you're watching, I forgot to put this stuff on social media. I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry, it's fine. So we're here to talk about the Burbs. This was a triple threat, really, because we just threw out 3 Dante movies. I can't remember the exact reason I haven't done stuff about Dante with Duncan. I think it's because it's not his cup of tea. I'm sure he must have seen them, but we put out Inner Space, Gremlins 2 and the Burbs. And there's a lot of chat on Patreon, kind of like, oh, I want this one, I want that one. Same on YouTube. For me, it was an absolute win. Anyone would have been fine. Yeah,
I've got a theory why you might not have done too much Dante is because Brad's got like a claim on every single one of them, but he's also really busy. So
oh, I did shit. I need to message Brad. Yeah, so Brad might join us later.
Oh, really?
Which could be a technical. I need to. I had a bit of a long day that got out of hand, and anyway, I'll talk about it in a bit. He might come into the chat, just the chat, but he might dial into Skype.
Oh.
We'll see. So obviously we did. Brad and I did a Gremlins 2 video, very early doors of Val Verde, which had Rafael Hengelbrock did special animated Gremlins for it. I don't know if you saw it, but it was really cool.
It was great. Yeah, I saw. I loved it.
Yeah, so we're all Dante fans, aren't we? I mean, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't Gremlins 2. Actually, that felt like the easy win for me. And then in my head, I thought Explorers was in the mix as well. Right. And I was like, oh, it might be Explorers because there's a lot of fans for Explorers out there, and it doesn't get talked about as much but everyone who does talk about it adores it. And I thought, it'll be that, and that wasn't even in there. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, I'm afraid not. No, I mean, Inner Space barely got a look in, which I'm a little bit sad about because I fucking love Inner Space.
It's only because everyone knows it really well. That's all. It's not because none of us like it.
Well, I'll break this down for you, mate. I'll tell you where we're at. Inner Space, 11% of the vote on Patreon.
Okay.
44 votes cast. Gremlins 2, 36% of the vote. And the Burbs, 52%.
That is a fucking landslide, right?
It kind of is. I thought it would be, in all honesty, I didn't have much hope for Inner Space. I would have loved to have seen it, but I didn't hold out much hope for it. But I really thought it would be tight between Gremlins 2 and the Burbs. And you're talking about, you thought maybe it'd be Gremlins 2. But no.
I also thought it would be Explorers, one that wasn't even in there. So I'm terrible at that. So I was going on our vague conversation, I should have checked.
So I'm the one, behind the curtain who's looking at all the shit on Patreon. So yeah, here we go. I mean, maybe Gremlins 2 will come back another time. I know a lot of people, really, really. I prefer Gremlins 2. Look, I always have. And Gremlins 1 is great. But on one hand, I want to see to watch Gremlins 2, so I put it in there. And also, it feels kind of weirdly perverse to watch something so overtly Christmassy when it's really quite fucking hot, as it is at the moment.
It's pretty. Yeah, I got my fucking sweat on today. Jesus.
Oh god, yeah. Oh mate, I've had a bit of a funny week. So I was at the Computer Museum today where we filmed our film,
Nice.
and I, like, as you know, I was able to film there kind of gratis
Which is
because I
great
volunteer.
Everyone's obviously really anticipating that, and I've seen it, so I get to do the whole.
Oh yeah,
like,
so Mark's seen the rough cut and given me some
great.
very good advice.
I loved
Actually.
it.
Your little edit you sent me of one of the scenes was just like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. I've
was
really
really-
arrived at the concept that I'm not an editor. Is what I've realised.
No, not at all. It was all in there. I mean, I was so emotionally fragile the day after because we were hanging out the night before, and I through hangover, right? Emotionally fragile through hangover, and I just went, I shouldn't have done that. That was really rude. I just re-edited it. I'm okay with my fight guy Sai sometimes does it with action scenes I send him. And I'm like, oh yes, okay, fine. I was like, I shouldn't have just done that. I should
No,
have
it's
checked.
brilliant. No. The way I took the film to Mark's house the other week in London, and Brad was there, and I kind of trepidatiously put it on to watch our rough cut when I was very hungover because we had quite a lot to drink the night before. And you were both very, very kind and very. Everything you said was really, really useful, and the edit you sent was highly useful because it showed to me a more three-dimensional approach to the project. But also the way I've referred to that, people said to me, how's the film going? And I've said, well, I showed it to some grown-ups last week. So you get a picture of what's going on there.
After how drunk we got, that's a really, really generous fucking
Well, you got to be over 18 to drink, my friends. That's the one. So I was in computing history today doing that. Doing something completely different because I volunteer there, and that just got well out of hand. And also I got a kind of weird toothache last night, so I didn't really sleep. So I came over computing history about 4 and I slept for like 2.5 hours. I woke up 6:30. I was like, oh fuck, I need to set up the lights, I need to eat dinner. So I'm a bit of a mess at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm fine. I'll straighten out. It's gonna be all right. Steve Allen wants to know, Mark, what's your favourite, the ZX Spectrum or the Commodore 64? Do you even have? You're not even really a gamer particularly, are you? Or?
I had a Commodore 64, and my friends had a ZX Spectrum. So I had a very odd Christmas once where I really wanted a Spectrum because there was a game he had where you could just swear an alien, and I was 11. I thought, it's fucking great, I just want to swear an alien. And they would get very upset with you. And my parents got me an NES, which was obviously fucking wicked.
Oh shit, yeah.
But like there was that pang of, I really wanted to spend Christmas Day swearing at a fucking alien. So then I figured out that if you put the gun next to the top corner of the TV on Duck Hunt, I could just wipe them all out with one single shot. And I just
welcome to Gaming Memories with Mark Price. I wanted to swear at a fucking alien.
But I was like, I'm sure we all did this, but during the internet, when you had to dial up, and it makes that sort of noise. I was like, just like when you put a Commodore 64 game in a regular sort of cassette player. That was where my brain went. So.
Well, they have in computing history, or they had. I'm not sure if it's still there. One of the exhibits is because loads of school groups go, so it's quite popular with kids in schools. There's a button you can press, and it says, "Hey kids, we used to have to dial into the internet, and it sounded like this. Press the button to hear the noise." So the kids can press the button, and it goes and does all the malarkey. So.
Do you remember though on the Commodore 64? I remember having a game, like a fucking platform game of Platoon.
Yes, yeah, I think it's by
around like shooting. Like,
dude, there was a really weird. I think that was by Ocean Software. There was a really weird spate of things that should not have been games. I think like Platoon. Okay, less funny because Platoon is like an Oliver Stone film, but there's like a game of like Red Heat and stuff like that. And
but when I watched Platoon, I was like, this doesn't feel like Predator, which is what the Platoon game reminded me of. I was like,
absolutely,
this feels like a really sad film.
There was a weird period where people were trying to find.
I was 10 at the time, maybe, or 11. I wasn't
well,
like,
this is it. And it's like
this wasn't like 20-year-old Mark going, fucking hell, this Platoon's like a fucking Oscar winner. What the hell?
Hey, look, you get right. So now you get these things. So you get the Metal Gear Solid games, and the guy who makes this, Kojima, has these really lofty pretensions about being Orson Welles, and it's kind of like it thinks it's mature, but it's not, right? And that's one type of sort of grown-up cinematic game. Then you got something like Erica, which is a straight-up kind of grown-up murder mystery, bit more kind of. But back in the day, because we've figured this out now. Back in the day, people were going like, well, kids like Jet Set Willy, kids like Mario. maybe kids want a game of Platoon or whatever. Like they really had not.
Just waiting for the Schindler's List game.
Yeah, exactly. Like what fucking whatever.
Every time you walk up to like a guy on his knees, you save him and you do a little dance and then it moves on. It's
the thing is, they probably would have.
It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, because you did. That is how Platoon worked, didn't you? Rescue hostages in Platoon, and it did a little thing.
They just recolor it. They just make it black and white. There we go. It's
sorted. Yeah,
it would still be a junk. They never put that much effort.
They absolutely would. That's the thing. There are others. There are so many. Did we talk about the Jeff Capes Foxy Flingo thing?
We did the other night.
Yes. We did the other night. Yeah, that's. People that has been snuck into. Oh yeah, no, I think it was in the version of the film you've seen, but I just want everybody to know that Jeff Capes Foxy Flingo is hidden inside UB, which I'm immensely proud of. It's like, oh, you've been working on the colour grade, you're going to kind of shave some time off. No, I've animated a fake game about Jeff Capes throwing a fox to France.
That's all fun to see, man.
It didn't take that long though. I'll tell you what, it took me about 20 minutes to animate it, and then I slapped it on in After Effects and put a bit of opacity on it, and there you go. But it's in the cut.
I did a sci-fi and had to animate all of the monitors because there's no one else to do it, and we needed to film them live. So I was just animating that stuff, like layering things on top of each other with alphas and just making it look like proper readouts for what turned out to be maybe about 40 seconds worth of shots. It took me fucking days.
You asked me if I could do that, and I had a real crisis of confidence about it, and I thought, I don't think I can. And then now I reckon if you asked, I'd probably bite your hand off.
No, that was visual effects. That was different.
Really? You wanted something more complicated than the screens?
Yeah.
Oh god, well I couldn't have done that. I absolutely could not.
No, you know After Effects. You must be like amazing. Can you do this?
Yeah, of course, no problem. Fucking hell. I've learned a lot in the last year just by because in my line of work as well, I just have to sort of say yes to things and then figure them out afterwards, which is fine. It works, you know. I'm just going to do a. Dan Lyles is very happy to see that Jeff Capes Foxy Flingo has made it into the movie. Just going to do some shout outs. People who are in the chat. Vote Saxon 07 is in. I can see Turtle Flipper, the Winkertron Exchange, John Smith yet again, the Gibbering Brit, Steve Allen, Simon Pope, Sam Duxbury, Ross Sanders, Mr. HEC 381991, Marty, John Doe, Dan Lyles, Benny Legend, and Worms T17 all here at the moment having a chat. So do get your copy of the Burbs ready, people who have them. And
this isn't too loud, is it?
No, man, you go for it. You go for it. I mean, people just want to know. People want to know that you've got a drink. That's
excellent.
Okay, I've got Brad. I've got Brad on the WhatsApp.
Oh, is he? Where's he? Wait, he hasn't WhatsApped me. Son of a bitch. Or has he? And I'm just bad. Nope, nothing.
Okay, send your dial in before.
Are you going to try and get him in?
Yeah. We'll get him in for a little bit before the movie.
That's why he's not WhatsApping me. He's trying to get the live show.
In the next 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Because I think Brad's very busy doing his thing, isn't he? He's got. I think he's cutting his movie. So, because it seems kind of perverse not to talk about Joe Dante without Brad. You know.
Yeah, it does feel like cheating, doesn't it?
Feels weird. Oh, people in the chat are talking about because Indy 5 is filming in Scotland.
Yeah. I saw some pictures of Harrison Ford. I just saw him with a mask. So fine. Yeah.
I
never thought this would happen. No, it's not really, is it? Because it does. There's no remake of a Spielberg movie. Like, no. He's kind of got that shut down, so that the only things that are like sequels to his films, he's fine with. He'll make a mint off a bad Jurassic Park movie, and he's just like, haha, and I still made the best one. So he's generally happy. But with Indiana Jones, I never thought, like, they don't feel like the same thing. They feel like if all three of them, because all three of them couldn't agree on things with the last film, and the film they made was the one they all agreed on. And so, like, it's a bit of it's quite interesting that, I mean, I love the director, it's James Mangold.
James Mangold, yeah, he's done some really good stuff. I just wonder if anybody can do a good job of that. You know what I mean? I was thinking, I had a little thought the other day in the kind of little optimistic moment. I was kind of like, man, wouldn't it be good though if like James Mangold's what they need and they've sorted it out and like they come back with this one and it's just really cool and it very definitively ends the story and it's kind of, hey, good movie, great movie. You know what I mean? It'd be really nice if that happened.
It's sort of like this new sort of spate of films, like the Star Wars films and the Jurassic Park films. They're almost like they have the feel of like fan films, except they've been given $200 million.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what the new Star Wars movies felt like as well, though. It's just like these.
Did we talk about this? It's like, it's not like whereas with Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry was like, he started off, but there were so many other voices creating all the Star Trek, so like DC Fontana and stuff. Did she create Klingons, or was that Gene Kuhn?
I can't remember. I mean, it wasn't Gene Roddenberry, is the point.
Yeah. And but with George Lucas, he was singularly behind everything. So if you take him out of that mix, then you're essentially making like sort of a fan film or the sort of extended universe stuff that I don't really like.
And he did hand off his ideas, and they just kind of went, "No, thank you." And it's like, okay, yeah, all right. I mean, I mean, because the indie without Spielberg, that's interesting. I wasn't sure, we'd ever see that.
But it's going to be like Jurassic World is like it's like a fan film for Jurassic Park. It's going to be that sort of thing, I think.
I really like Jurassic World, by the way, and on that basis, I viewed it as a kind of 1970s kind of big cast disaster, towering inferno type thing, and I enjoyed it on that level. It was like the Sci-Fi Channel if they were going to do their dinosaur movie that came out. Except they made it with the studio and slap the actual title on it. That's what it felt to me. I was like, if it's called like Cretaceous Wreck or something.
Dinosaur Forest.
Dinosaur Forest.
That's not my joke. I took that from someone else. I can't remember who. I think it was Patrice O'Neill.
I saw the fucking rip-off of the Asylum version of Kong vs Godzilla is it's just called Ape versus Monster, I think. And it's like, come on, like, I get it with you guys, but at least try a little. Like, at least, like, when you call it Transmorphers, you're kind of you've warmed up a little. When it's just Ape versus Monster, it's like, well, okay.
It's like they did the it's like, but even though Ape versus Monster, it's still gonna be someone from American Pie who's got far more plastic surgery than they should have had at their age, talking in a room with a computer behind them. Like the old, like it's, and then they'll have a couple of shonky CG effects that they repeat, flip, zoom in, flip again, and it'll be the same punch. And that would be the trailer.
I have two things to talk about here. Thing number one is I once picked up a movie called Jurassic Shark because it had the Jurassic Park font and logo of the shark on it, and it's mostly
the one in the lake, right?
Yeah, it's a lake, and then it's two people in white coats standing on a stairwell talking like it's all those things. Yeah.
With all the exposition, but the mic is so far away, it's just echo, and you can't understand a fucking word to say.
Yeah. The other thing I've discovered, which is why I say I haven't discovered shit, but like as a kind of point of let's look at kind of tropes of Americana, to give it a really lofty thing. I watched George Romero's last film, The Amusement Park, this week.
Really?
So it's on Shudder, so I got the Shudder trial and I watched it this week. It's only 50 minutes long. I can tell you what, it's definitely a surrealist age awareness film paid for by Lutherans. Like that those are the facts. But the kind of opening, the fonts all over George Romero's Amusement Park at the beginning is the Jurassic Park font. So I'm like, is that the American font for theme parks of a certain era? It's the exact same font. So I'm like, what does that mean? Yeah. It's fucking weird, man. I mean, it's as weird as it is very much just kind of, surrealist. It's a surrealist age awareness film, and it has the lead actor giving a kind of little lecture at the top and bottom of it.
Oh wow!
It's really interesting. It's very much of that era of non-zombie Romero stuff, and his style. You get his styles all over it. You should definitely give it a go.
I've had a week where I've just been looking at like Brian De Palma films I'd not seen before. So I never saw Obsession, I never saw The Fury, and I started watching those. And I'm like, oh, this is great stuff. It's like early De Palma is pretty awesome. So I really. So there's a few Romeros I haven't seen as well. So I need to catch up on a few of those. But it's nice to know that there's still new ones coming out to add on to the pile of films I should have watched by now.
Because there exists a George Romero Foundation, and his, he wasn't with Christine Romero anymore, and he died. He had a second wife, and I think she was involved in getting it restored and stuff.
I didn't know that.
They got divorced really quite late in his life, and he pissed off and became a Canadian citizen and stuff. It's weird. I think he's remarried. Yeah, it is his wife. I could be wrong. I tend to say things and just be wrong, but he did piss off to Canada. That I can confirm.
I was thinking this recently. Is that I don't know. I know a lot about the films, but nothing about personal lives.
Less about the man.
Filmmakers. Yeah, I'm sort of like, oh wow, really? I mean, there are a couple of obvious ones, but mainly I'm like because James Cameron is married and being divorced from very
everyone who's ever been in his films. He was divorced from Leonardo DiCaprio.
I worked for a company and we sort of like drove people around and stuff. Basically, when I was doing Colin, I was able to sort of edit because the night shift was quiet. So I'd go in there and I wrote the film, edited the film, all when I was sort of working in this office where we hardly had any phone calls. And one of the drivers had driven, like, I think Linda Hamilton around. And so, he was like, oh, I know who you are. So they were chatting away. And she says at the time, this is like 2007, 2008, that James Cameron and all of his ex-wives, they all got together for Christmas. They all got on very well, and they all sort of hung out. It's all quite friendly.
I've heard that, yeah. It seems that because he's continued to work with some of them and other stuff like that. Yeah, he's clearly he's cracked the formula, isn't he? I wouldn't have Christmas dinner for my fucking exes. Jesus Christ.
He's just passionate, so he marries everyone straight off the bat, and then forgets that after a couple of years, I don't give a fuck anymore. You go, oh bollocks! No, loads of money.
So that's the thing with being a fucking superstar director, isn't it? Like, surely one of the best things about directors is all the benefits of working in movies without any of the fame or notoriety. But
that was also a jope, by the way. The whole thing on a Google me. That was like, that was me being sexist.
Mark Price is cancelled. We're going to get you cancelled, man.
About sexism, it wasn't being.
This is the internet. There's no room for nuance. You know that. There can't be any nuance, Mark. Oh, fuck it. Don't worry. Me and Duncan make jokes about getting cancelled every week. It's totally fine. Totally fine.
You're ripping into people who are not conventionally slender or something one time.
That was Duncan. I did not co-sign the fat shaming week. It's nothing to do with that. I sort of got a back in those solidarity. Yeah, fuck them all. I'm on Duncan's side.
Yeah, you know what though? He skips one meal, he passes out. We're all in business. We could live in the Andes. We need to eat our mates.
Yeah, we could move in on the handsome people's turf if they just stop eating. Miss a meal. Done.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Yeah,
that's way how muscles now, Casey. Slice
Get him cured, turn him into Duncan jerky. Make him last for weeks, like he's on a sailboat. Beautiful. Should we? Let's get. I don't think we're going to get Brad. I don't think. So I'm going to make an exec decision and we'll get
He's
dived
watching,
in.
Brad, you can text me some facts to spill out like they're my own observations. This is the trick. If anyone sees me doing this, that's how you know.
Yeah.
Brad said.
I have my own tells that I'm not going to give. Don't want to be rumbled. Let me just go. I'm going to go rent those Burbs. Give me a second. Let's check how.
You're renting it.
Yeah, I'm going to rent it. I've got a Blu-ray, but my Blu-ray player's knackered, so it's fine. It's fine. I do this quite a lot.
I've got some sort of version that was living on a hard drive somewhere that I believe I digitized myself.
You listening?
That sounds like something that's the truth.
Are you
right?
listening? The Federation Against Copyright Theft fact or in error?
They aren't around anymore. Okay.
The Federation Against Copyright Theft.
Brad's asking, how do I dial in?
Ah, I thought it was going to. Okay, we'll get Brad on. Hold on, Brad. There he is. Oh, he's put a sad face into my. Don't worry, Brad. Oh God, how do I Skype? How do I Skype?
There you go.
Brad wants. I thought I already was going to Brad. Okay, we're going to dial in Brad. People are excited to see Brad. It's been a while. Richard has not had to do these things in the pandemic. Brad. Hold tight, Brad. We're coming to get you. Let's add Brad. Right, I might have to do some malarkey just to get his audio stream.
Oh, hang on. Something's happening. There's some. Oh, Jesus. Double people.
There he is. Hello.
Something's happening. Yeah, hey. Oh, Jesus. Double
okay, Brad,
you put some headphones in.
You need some headphones, Brad.
Hey. Oh, Jesus.
I need headphones.
You need headphones.
Yeah. Oh, it's a net massive feedback. It's all right though. It's our own voices. So. Oh, it's not like it.
Okay.
Is this Brad's first live stream?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm gonna just put him. Ooh, I need to put him somewhere. This is the. the dangerously impromptu nature of doing this kind of shit.
Oh, look at that! Love it.
Okay.
Take that, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, fuck you, Tom Hanks. Okay, might be a bit of echo, guys, whilst we sort this out. But there you go. We've got a Brad. How exciting!
Oh, like it's like a bit from Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer at the moment. It's just like an empty room, just waiting for somebody to come in.
It's terrifying. Yeah, well, this is Brad's digs up north, isn't it? I've seen this before. How exciting!
Yeah,
it's been a while. The last three-way we had was with Steve, with Vote Saxon, who's in the chat at the present time.
I've got headphones in my car. I'm just getting them.
Okay. I'm going to regale you with something that I was reminded of, which I find funny. But I find lots of things funny. I was one of the many Comic-Con things that we did. Oh God, hold on. I've created chaos here. I'll get that out there. This is the problem with me being asleep earlier.
Mate, I had a nap as well. I set my alarm just in case. I missed the whole thing, so I was quite stressed, and I was worried I was going to just sleep through it. So so this is me boring story.
I had the same anxiety. I was like, what if I get a phone call from Mark going like, we're still doing the stream, and it's like 8:45. I was at Comic-Con and I saw Guy Signer, the guy who played the camp Nazi in Hello Hello.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was at a table signing things, and he was sat there like with like a Boots meal deal, eating his Walker's crisps and stuff, and just sort of playing on his phone. Pretty mundane, except he was in an SS uniform. So look, sometimes in order to be recognised, you have to go as the character you played in the thing. If you're like Admiral Motti or something, you have to do that. But his one was, I'm sure someone will correct me, it wasn't an SS uniform. It's perhaps a Wehrmacht officer's uniform or something. He was dressed as a Nazi, tucking into some salt and vinegar, and it was a very weird image. And I'm...
Mate, that's all I'd ever want to see at a Comic-Con.
I love those.
I want to see Peter Mayhew, well, not anymore, he's dead, but if he was alive... cramming like Pringles into his Chewbacca mouth that doesn't really work anymore. That would be a sight.
I once I told you about Spider-Man and Venom, didn't I? I told you that the other day. That story.
Tell everyone else.
I may have told this before, but I've got two of these that I really like. So I think Comic-Con creates this kind of world of mundanity meets the fantastic, which I really like. But I'd been out to Brixton Academy at some drum and or bass music, which goes quite late, so we left at like 5:30, got back to King's Cross for about 6:30, and we had to wait a little bit for the train. I was with my pal and I said to my pal, I need a piss, I'll be back in a minute. And I go into the bathroom and Spider-Man's just standing there, and I'm a little bit worse for wear, but I'm kind of like, I'm just going to ignore Spider-Man. This is London, I'm sure this kind of Spider-Man, so this happens all the time, fine. I had my piss, I washed my hands, I went to leave, and I went, do you know what, I'm not going to let this go. I'm not letting this go. And I just walked over and said, hey, Spider-Man, what's going on? And he goes, oh, nothing. I'm just waiting for my brother. And as he said it, the cubicle opened and Venom walked out. And it was just the most wonderful. It's like, and Venom must have presumably went in on his own. Must have unzipped from the back or something, got the whole thing off just to slash, It was beautiful. The other one was, I was in the Kapow Comic-Con in Islington about 10 years ago. It was quite a cool little con. And there was a man in a really, really good Batman costume, like, made out of like leather and stuff, like really cool. And you could hear like the leather creaking and had like metal studs and stuff. Awesome. And he was with someone who was dressed, it was a girl who was dressed as the Damian Wayne version of Robin, with like the spiky hair and stuff. Similar thing. These two had gone in on these really cool, really awesome, like screen-worthy costumes, which is really great. But what they were saying to each other was like, it doesn't include a sandwich. You only get a sandwich in a meal deal. You can't have that sandwich. You got to get the small sandwich. You get any sandwich. It says, well, you can't have the drink then. And it was like, they looked like they would kill you. But when they opened their mouths and they were arguing over a fucking egg and cress in a Tesco in Islington, it's like, yeah. This really punctures any kind of threat that you may have. And he was like, they were both like in shape. They looked like they could have been in a movie. It was amazing.
I always like the cats preening themselves in the lobby area. That was the most regular thing. I was like, hey, and it's This is a while ago, before I learned what a furry was, and I was like, "Oh, that's what they're there for. They're there to meet other furries to, I don't know, do whatever my dog did to pillows."
Whatever my dog did to pillows.
I've seen cats do similar shit. I've never had a cat. It's probably more hissing and claws.
There's more bleeding. Yeah. Okay, I was worried for a moment that Brad had been horribly murdered or something, but he's there.
It would have fit in with his Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
That's true. Yeah, it's absolutely true. He's kind of. This has gone a little bit like Ghostwatch, though. I think it's like, was that Brad or was it Mr. Pipes? I'm not completely sure.
Tilt down, there's like a dead, like, what is there other than a prostitute? I'm trying to go away from that sort of thing.
We're trying to move away from that. Are we though?
It's nothing to do with me declaring that there's a worthless member of society. It's just, what I expect from Brad. It's nothing to do with the joke, which is the homeless prostitutes. Nothing to do with that. I'm not a monster. I just know what Brad would kill.
Right. Okay, just for qualification there.
There's a killer whale in there. Laid on the floor. Turn it into a lamp.
Mark's opinions are his own. I just happen to agree with them. What would Brad kill?
He's got something illegal on the floor.
He's got his dick out for sure. Well, I think we only saw the top half, right?
Yeah, he doesn't know he's on yet.
Here he is! Hey,
Brad, girls! I think he's doing this all now. It's amazing you might not have heard any of this. Did you hear any of that we were saying? You might not have heard any of this. Did you hear any of that?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
Okay, you're good. You're in. It's good.
Okay,
cool.
Good. We got him. Well, Brad's here, everyone. How exciting!
You're good. You're in. It's good.
We are getting a little bit of an echo still.
Is your other headphone next to the mic or the speaker or something? I'm not a tech. I don't know.
I've got.
Where's your other earpiece?
In my other ear now.
There we go. Now there's no feedback. You did it.
Hey, got it. All right. Well, shall we? Brad, have you got the Burbs there? Did you want to watch a bit? How long can you stick around?
I can stick around. I haven't got it. I can't stick around for the whole thing. I'm in my edit suite right now.
Oh, he's in the suite. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah, Brad's working on a movie. Brad's working on a proper movie, and he's come to join us. So there you go. There you go. Look a bit of self-promotion there. Well, let's kick it off, I reckon. And Brad, you know the movie. You could just react to stuff.
It's the Burbs, right? I know it backwards.
Brad's going to try and guess.
You know it backwards.
I think where we are.
Mark and I are going to act it out. I'm going to be Rick DeCommon. You're going to be Tom Hanks. It's going to be fun. Okay, well, Mark, you got yours ready and we'll kick them off.
I am ready. You count us in.
Gang, at home with your copy of the Burbs. I'm going to count down from 4, and then I'm going to say they keep a horse in the damn basement, and you have to press go on basement. So 5.
On the B of basement or the end of basement?
The unt.
The unt of basement.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They keep a horse in the damn basement! That was a very bad Bruce Dern there.
It's played. There we go.
There you go. Other people would have said pizza dude, but not me. That's not my favourite line. My favourite line is they keep a horse in the damn basement.
No, the best line is I've never seen that. I've never seen someone drive their garbage down to the edge of stick. I've never seen that. That's one of the greatest lines in cinema history.
Too many to choose because you could have sardine.
Brad, you can tell us about this opening shot. So it's a painting first, then was it like?
Well, it's a series of matte paintings with blacked out areas in the middle. So they kept zooming in. So it's a matte painting within a matte painting within a matte painting, and then it becomes a miniature. And the whole street at the end is a miniature. It's amazing.
How is that put together?
Optically,
it's just optical compositing. It's amazing. It's incredible, isn't it?
There's a little tree. There's a tree that we wipe past to go from the miniature into the crane shot, and then we go into the whole thing. It's like back in the day when, a film needs to start with point to the shot.
Yeah, back in the day where effect shots were really hard, so they had to really count.
Yes, because this is the thing that this script doesn't need that, but fuck me, they did it, and it's. There you go. It's like it's incredible. That's just your scene setter to establish that it's instant, but it's designed to establish mundanity, and it's this insanely elaborate shot. So fucking good.
It's genius. It's brilliant, and people don't understand. People take that for granted now because you can do that shot on your, on your laptop. You can do it. It's so easy. But back in the day, I remember when that Universal, I was like, "Hello, something's off here." I said, I feel ILM are at work. When the Universal logo started, and then then you just started going into it, and it was mind blowing. People I don't think people appreciate how that you came to see this stupid comedy with Tom Hanks, and it started like that. You were like,
huge effect shot.
Yeah.
Did you see it in the cinema, Brad?
I did, but it wasn't the first time I saw it. First time I saw it was on a plane coming back.
Oh wow!
Was it heavily censored?
But I probably, and it was an overnight jobby, so I was falling asleep, and also I just had my face smashed in with a jet ski, so I was.
Jesus! Oh God! You said that story the other day. Fucking Jesus Christ!
So that was actually the first time I saw the Burbs, was while I was out of my head.
That memory of you telling that story just came back to me from last week.
Yeah. The same. Jesus Christ.
But then I saw it again. But when I got back, it was still in the cinema in the UK, and I was like, I've got to see it properly. So I did.
I would have seen this on TV, and with my mum and dad, kind of like, this new film's on TV, let's watch it. And it was just like, this is. I think since then, it's just been one of my favourite films straight away. Well, just like, this is amazing.
We've got that little thing where there's that little trifecta of those years, those just years. So if you're like, so you're younger than me, Rich, and I'm a little bit younger than you, Brad.
And I'm pretty old.
So there's that thing where your memory of this is going to be vivid, but they're all the same films. So we all love the same films.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's that little 2 years or 3 years of maturity
that
comes with this.
Well, I mean, it's all relative when we're speaking about us and maturity. But
I would use a different word than maturity, but it's but it's funny how we pretty much had. There's not really many movies that I remember that you don't. And but we just have that slightly different look at them sometimes, which is fascinating. When we
the same one's reached us. That's the fun part.
Well, that's
sorry, it's when he chucks the mug of coffee at the paperboy. It's fucking great.
It's like we've got the sinister tone setting establisher of the street, but now we're in the more sort of daylight.
The kind of pastel colours and stuff. Because a minute ago when he steps into their property and all the wind blows, suddenly all the leaves go in his face. Irish Cole made a good comment. Sorry, Brad. He says this movie makes me think of the Munsters, but from the neighbour's point of view. Which is quite a nice way to look at it.
Very good point. Yeah, I was trying to explain the other day how to someone how amazing it was every time you went to see a Joe Dante movie, and the Dante stroke Jerry Goldsmith opening credits in a street sequence happens.
Right.
With the boppity Goldsmith moments. How when that would start up, it would just be so exciting. It'd be like, yes, we're back in the world, the land of Dante and Goldsmith.
I do keep meaning to give Small Soldiers another go, because it has,
Good.
Well, this is the thing. I remember when it came out, I watched it and I was a bit like, it didn't really grab me like other Dante movies. But then I've caught bits of it on TV, and it's like, well, fucking Phil Hartman's in this, you know what I mean? Yeah. And basically all of Spinal Tap, and it's got all those beautiful models and things in it.
Absolutely. I think the funny thing about it is it is definitely Dante light. It doesn't hold up to what we consider the golden run of Dante, but still, compared to most films you see today, it's still wildly inventive. Compared to what we get most of the time now. So I guess when you look back on it, you go, actually, it wasn't so bad. It was actually quite good.
Yeah, it wasn't well responded to, was it, at the time? I don't think.
I remember enjoying it, but we wanted Gremlins, and I don't think it was a different, which is great now, but at the time the tone wasn't Gremlins, which is what I think you wanted it to be, quite horror. That was my feeling.
I mean, it had its moments. It had its moments where it was going there, but you could tell that
It felt quite painful, the little needly knives they made, and they were like cutting you in the shins and stuff. Is that thing that happens in this? Am I getting it confused with fucking the pigeon from Cat's Eyes? I might be getting some things confused, but it felt dangerous at parts. When they started cobbling together weapons, it felt a little bit like, oh shit, okay, these things could be lethal.
Yeah, because it's got quite dark connotations, that film, and because it's sort of like Gulliver's Travels in that respect. But yeah, it's I tell you what I liked a lot about that was the way it reversed your expectations of who's bad and who's good, because the marketing made it clear. And the whole point of the toy line is that the humans good, aliens bad, and that's how they marketed it. And then once you're into the movie, of course, what are they called? The Gorgonites are the good guys, of course, and then the Tommy Lee Jones's soldier dudes are the evil ones.
Well, that's the thing that happens in the Burbs, right? Because initially, the ending of this film was, the Klopeks are actually normal people. They're just they're just, doing their own thing, and they're different. And as a result, it turns out that Tom Hanks and all the people in the street are the fucking crazy ones. But they did that, and the ending was fine. But then someone just went, "No way, go back and change it." And although, the film holds up better when you think about the ending that was intended, I do still love the fucking ambulance scene and that music cue that then they stuck in Gremlins 2. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I almost view it as, and this might be a cop out. This might be me just liking Dante so much that I give it a break. But I almost view it that the real story ends on that Tom Hanks speech. And then we're just given this fun little ending, just for the hell of it,
As a kid, I always felt so sorry for them when they were looking at their smashed up house.
Absolutely.
And I still do. It doesn't change, even though I'm like, it turns out Tom Hanks is right, I'm not sad anymore. It's like, no, that's still a crushing moment. Yeah. Especially knowing that that's the film they were meant to be making. Yeah. It's beautiful.
I know. It cuts to Brother Theodore and his lip is quivering.
Yes.
And Goldsmith does this solo violin. It's really sad. It's tragic.
Well, because that original concept is definitely still there. You know what I mean? It's in the dialogue and everything, but I think the bolted on ending, it helps sell that even more, because it just feels like you've been misdirected. Been taken down one path to get slapped. I just need to read a quick super chat. The Wing Kong Exchange gives £5. Thank you, Wing Kong Exchange. He asks, while we're on the Dante train, what do you guys think of Krampus? Have you both seen Krampus?
You know what? I haven't seen it.
Mark, you seen Krampus?
I've meant to seen it.
Seen what? Sorry.
Krampus.
Oh yes, Krampus is good.
Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it? I liked it.
You liked it. Yeah.
That went places I didn't expect as well. Actually. I didn't.
It did a similar thing to Toy Soldiers, Small Soldiers. Sorry, Toy Soldiers is a fucking excellent film, but a different film. Small Soldiers, where it sort of leaned into the comedy a bit more, and I was surprised at that. I was expecting it not to. So I think it's because of the way these things are sort of marketed. Sometimes they're promising more of the horror, and I love comedy actors doing, playing it straight. There's something about that that's amazing. But and I was expecting that, so I was a bit surprised to see, when all these things happen, it would cut to someone going, "You gotta be kidding me!" I was like, "Oh," because I've never been fond of that response. That's never what Indiana Jones did. Indiana Jones never went, "Melting Nazis, you gotta be kidding me!" No, he was like, he took the situation seriously, and so the threat always felt real, and you were allowed to have fun around that. But no, it doesn't take anything away from it. It just is. It's that thing where the marketing gives you that expectation, but you got to watch the film on its own terms. And when you do that, the Krampus is pretty fucking great. Yeah, highly recommend it.
There you go, Wing Chun Exchange. Yeah, it is really great, and I love the ending. I won't spoil it, but the ending was just kind of like, oh, okay.
It's pretty fucking cool, yeah.
I worked on a similar-ish note, and it's kind of the inverse, sort of. Obviously, Tom Hanks started off doing kind of comedy-type stuff, and ended up doing kind of very serious, dramatic roles and quite worthy shit. I fucking love comedy Tom Hanks. He was so good. So good in comic roles. And that's not to diminish what he's done with his career since. But in this, for example, there's a bit when Richter Common's eating all the pancakes and he's just rubbing the pencil against his head. He's constantly doing these little micro kind of quirks and performances. Even when he's not in focus and stuff, he's in the background doing something. All these pieces of character work.
Have you seen the outtake where Corey Feldman has to open the door and bust the plate? And he keeps getting the timing wrong. And Tom Hanks fucking runs in. Nobody stop. No. And he goes to Corey Feldman, give him a quick pep talk. Concentrate, take your time. Fucking Art is getting really, really impatient, but in a way where he's not going to cause a scene. It's fucking brilliant. And you just really see how Tom Hanks, he's riding high at this point, how like he was totally behind it. You just get the impression that he doesn't dial anything in. He's working his balls off to make this as good as he can. But the thing with his comedy roles as well is I always think that if you look at something like Punchline, like he's always working in great dramatic performances amongst the comedies. And I think people really noticed with Big, that was when people went, hey, he's more than just the bachelor party comedy guy. He can do something. He really can do this stuff. So he always has these moments of like genuine like pathos. And I've always loved that.
Yeah, even in his comedy roles, he would do that. I was talking actually yesterday with some of the crew here about The Money Pit. Yeah. And and I think that's such an underrated movie, and it's so brilliantly constructed. But he plays
the Steptoe and Son episode. I always point out every time someone brings up The Money Pit. But great movie, fucking amazing movie.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But that slapstick sequence, that whole like cause and effect sequence that just goes on and on and on. It's just it's Buster Keaton level stuff. You know, it's amazing.
He had a real physicality. I think that's the thing, because when he was kind of like skinny, lanky dude, because he does Exasperated so well, so he's really good at flapping. He'll flap, and it's kind of explosive, and he'll react in a way that uses his entire body. And I think Dante's really good at capturing that, because he'll get him in kind of wide, sort of like exploding.
Yeah. But the little things like later on in the Burbs when he has that weird sneezing fit, and he's like that, and the way he just gets in this little look to Carrie Fisher, where it's like I can't stop this. Just this little look of sneezing. It's amazing.
I think they know they're in good hands with Joe Dante because his teeny details are the things he loves. So, like, when you go to film, I was in Gremlins, there's a fucking artichoke hooked up to a car battery just pulsing in the corner of the screen for, like, an exposition shot. It's like, yeah, he just wants to make this as interesting as possible, and this is what he loves.
I remember watching Gremlins in a cinema. My local cinema likes to show old movies. And a bunch of us went to see Gremlins, and I was with a whole bunch of people who had seen Gremlins many, many times. But it was only because you're watching it on the big screen that you see what's going on. And the amount of people who had never noticed the fact that you have the time machine, the H.G. Wells time machine,
yes,
at the convention, and then went on the phone call, and then it cuts away, comes back, and it's gone, and there's
smoke in everyone's panicking.
Fucking brilliant.
Absolutely
fucking
amazing.
Brilliant. It's just a totally cheeky little thing that would have cost quite a bit to do.
Yeah.
It's a thrown away thing.
Imagine, like, because it was the real one, right? So I imagine it was the real one they borrowed from some fucking museum, or
because don't they have Robbie the Robot in Gremlins 2?
He's in the first one, I think, isn't he?
No, he's in the first one.
He's in the first one. Is that the convention as well?
He's at the convention.
Right.
It promotes rust. That was not good.
I tell you what, but in the Burbs in the Klopex basement in the shadows is Rose.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! I didn't know that.
Because everyone's like, you can't find it, and all I did was Google, and I was like, oh, there it is. So, I didn't find it. I mean, I Googled it.
I did. Someone I know. I'm not going to name them in case I don't want to get anybody in trouble, which they shouldn't do, but I just be careful. Someone I know approached Joe Dante to do a documentary about him, and said we'd like to do a doc about you specifically, like a biography. And he just said, "I'm not. Thank you, I'm flattered, but I'm not interested. I just don't think I'm very interesting or have led a very interesting life, so I don't really want to do that."
Yeah,
which is just like, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I saw this. Really cool author called Michael Doyle. I definitely recommend checking out his stuff. He tweeted a quote from Dante about the Burbs, just coincidentally, and I was like, I'll screen grab this for this. And this is from Dante. He goes, "The Burbs actually got worse reviews than The Explorers, which I thought would always be the worst reviewed picture I ever made. I thought it was probably going to fade away, but to my amazement, every time I host a screening of The Burbs, it's packed." And it's like, it's kind of. I think Joe Dante just doesn't quite realize. I reckon that Joe Dante doesn't do all the reading that some other people do. He stays the fuck away from it and just assumes, well, I don't, when they've got you doing episodes of Legends of Tomorrow or something, when you used to do, like, the biggest films of the 80s, he might look inward and not see that as like a satisfying. I don't know. I'm just.
I think that's a bit like John Carpenter's quite like that.
Yeah,
he just kind of gets on with it and has his own. Because I think there was quite a film.
You might not know that he's like as still as revered and loved by.
He always refers to Gremlins as the medley of his greatest hit, and I think he thinks that Gremlins is the only movie he's made that's made some kind of impact, and which if you're going to look at the initial opening box office of everything, yeah, it's by far his biggest movie. But he doesn't realize what an absolute influence he's had on our generation's childhood. And the man
he lived it from the inside. Yeah. So I think that's the problem, isn't it, when you see it from the inside? Because
the problem being a smart, intelligent, normal human being is you don't know that kind of thing if you've done it. Like you say, he's getting on with his life and he doesn't realize that he's got the massive fan base.
Can we just? I drag this up as often as I can, but can we just talk about Matinee for a little bit?
Of course,
because Matinee is fucking
great.
Amazing,
Oh, yeah.
and that's something I think came to TV and video here quite quickly because it didn't do very well. Because that was something that my mum was quite good at, like sitting us down in front of Joe Dante movies because she knew we'd always watch a Joe Dante film, and Matinee was one of them. And I just assumed, okay, most kids in the playground seen this. Everybody's seen Gremlins. I just assumed for years that everybody would watch Matinee, and I did like nobody I knew. It turned out had seen Matinee.
It was so hard to get hold of. It screened once at the cinema in Swansea, and I wasn't able to see it that day. I saw it. I thought, I'll just watch it when I can, and I missed it. And it took me ages to find a video because the video shop I went to only had the big films because they were like, well, we just want to make money. So I just didn't get a chance to see Matinee for till a very long time. I fucking loved it when I watched it.
Yeah, I always remember seeing the posters for it on the London Underground, but never being able, and then never finding it at the cinema, and then I had to wait till it came out on video, and I was just desperate to see it because it was like it was almost like all the perfect ingredients thrown in, and
it ends. It's something that fucking Inglourious Bastards gets talked about for ending with like a cinema being destroyed, but Matinee, because that's what you're doing when you show that and stuff. And that's how I found out who William Castle was. It's like, oh, this film about this wacky guy, and then it's like, no, actually this was based on a real thing. And then all of the Cold War panic and all that stuff and the missile crisis shit.
Well, to me it's an absolute perfect example of that wonderful coming of age kind of movie where it's just about kids but there's this crazy almost hyper real adult world going on around them, and it's just their lives caught up in this crazy sort of larger than life thing that's going on. And when you get that balance right, I think that's the greatest genre there is, and Matinee is absolutely one of the finest examples of it. I love it. That was the movie.
It needs to be discussed more.
Yes,
so I think it's a really interesting film.
Hey, you guys should do a fucking video on it.
There you go. Then I was immediately sort of thinking that we should do a video on it. Normally like
I don't know where I could have got that idea.
Some YouTube channels, when people have an idea, pound signs appear in their eyes. Yeah, on this channel, when I have an idea, like drachmas. I get one drachma here. We are still accepting drachmas at the PO box. Just shove them in a sock.
What lose?
That'd be great.
Yeah. You sure it's not the Monopoly old boot that appears?
Could be.
Like, ding.
Right, people say my volume is low, so I'm gonna volume up.
I have this really fucked up thing. Every time I see an animal on film, I just go, long dead. Tom Hanks' dog right now, and I'm just like, oh no, that dog's dead as fuck. I mean, and so it should be. It's been like 30 years.
I don't know. I say my volume's gone really low, which doesn't make any sense.
See, I've only got you on Skype, buddy, so I don't really know how this translates to the older.
Look, I'm gonna jack.
Someone said
all the way up.
Someone says it's talking to the other side of the screen, away from your mic.
I'm talking like this now.
Oh, mate, everything. There we go.
Oh, that sounds close.
I like it. You should speak really.
Oh god, that was slightly ominous. The problem I have is that because I'm trying to look at the chat, so I'm gonna have to put this here.
Ah, there we go. Hey, you got you got a little arm.
I got the arm and everything. This is a new arm. I had to upgrade. My other arm was knackered. So I'm gonna put this here and not move. There you go. Okay, that seems to sort it. Okay, nice one. So someone said all kinds of things. Oh yeah, C17. What are your thoughts on Looney Tunes back in action?
Didn't see it.
You said
Looney Tunes back in action is it's fascinating. Actually, it is fascinating. But it's not very it's not good. But it's still got some moments of genius in it. There's a particular sequence where the characters are running through an art gallery and they're running through all the paintings and becoming the same style as the paintings as they run through.
Wow. Yes,
that is particularly great. It's nearly, but not quite. Joe, I think it's the movie that made Dante kind of step back from Hollywood a lot, because I think
people get that got a fucking kicking, that film.
Yeah,
I only watched it recently. I'm pretty certain, Brad, I might have texted you when I watched it one Sunday about a year ago.
I think you probably did.
Yeah, and I was just like, what are your thoughts on this? Because it's not good, but it's really fucking inventive. Yeah, and it's full, and it's got a Dalek in it, as Dan's reminded me. But it's really inventive, that painting thing. And I think I would argue that I think Dante said everything he needed to say about Chuck Jones and Looney Tunes with Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
And I think then actually giving him the keys to that, it's sort of like Gareth Edwards doing Godzilla. I think he said everything he needed to say with Monsters, and I'm less convinced that it was necessary for him to do Godzilla.
He had a lot of the studio were right on it with that one. I think it was a renowned studio interfered movie.
His voice is in there though. I think that's kind of cool. Because his shooting style is so it's all a perspective, right? He's very he loves Spielberg clearly, and it's all right.
The art design's amazing.
I can't put a camera there unless someone would be there, and the tone was very straight. And it's well, I want to convince people this is happening, and that's which you've lost with the other ones. I mean, people really liked that last one. I thought it was tedious.
I discovered something recently that I'm going to dig out for you. This is something I nearly did a video on. And it's a thing by Joe Dante, which is...
No, I want to see The Thing by Joe Dante.
Oh, wow, that would be great, wouldn't it? Wait, where is it? Joe Dante technically made the first Netflix original. Hold on. You guys talk among yourselves. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it.
Was that the one, the whole... what was it called?
Is it the Civil War one?
No. That he did a Masters of Horror episode. The zombie one. Joe Dante.
What was the film he did with they put the camera down the hole? Was that called The Hole?
The Hole, or just Hole? I can't remember. Yeah.
Hole. I think it's called Hole. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool movie.
That was fucking great. Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, "Fuck, this is amazing." Yeah, I really like that one a lot.
Yes. Okay, so this is it. And I found this on Netflix recently by accident. It's called Splatter. There he goes, look, fucking Tom Cruise. So Roger Corman produced a Joe Dante directed Netflix series in 2009, right? So it's technically kind of the first Netflix original. And I think the idea was you had to vote who died next.
Oh shit, okay.
And it's got Tony Todd in it and Corey Feldman plays like a rock star. And I know it was written by Richard Matheson's son. That's it. It's just this nested box of weird shit. It is hey, look, worship Joe Dante. It's really fucking bad, really bad, even by kind of Roger Corman budget standards. It's a really awful thing. But I found it on Netflix, kind of look at this weird little thing with Tony Todd, directed by Joe Dante. Let's check this out. And then watched it. I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. But I feel like Dante may have just been phoning it in, or the parameters weren't quite set. But it is not good. And I believe it's still on Netflix for you to find. I wouldn't recommend that you do, but you can if you want to.
So drunk I get.
It's not.
Maybe that needs to be a drunken night.
Yes.
Of us.
You don't get that anymore. Do you remember when? Because we're all now possibly old enough that we can sort of remember this, but you couldn't sleep on a Friday night is before you just fucking going out and getting fucked up, and so you just well, what's on ITV? and about 1 o'clock in the morning, fucking Piranha would come on. I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to see this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, those 1 o'clock in the morning discoveries.
I was a fiend for taping stuff like that. I would go through the TV Guide magazine and I'd have blank tapes from the post office and I'd tape the shit I hadn't seen. So it's kind of like, oh, this film's on. I've never watched that. I'll watch it and tape it. Or sometimes just tape it if I was watching another movie on the other side. So I could then watch it the next day or whatever. And I discovered so many movies like that. So I used to have a big box of VHS tapes with all my... Yeah, that's how I saw like The Deer Hunter and Taxi Driver and like Rollerball was when they were on in the middle of the night. I would tape them and I'd be doing something else. And even when I did... Well, actually, to be fair, my being a council estate delinquent, my drinking career kicked off quite early. So I would set things to tape whilst I was off down the park bench, like drinking cider with my mates. I'd be taping fucking, you know, The French Connection 2 at home and then go and watch it. I still got that box of tapes. They're probably all degraded. I was wondering if I can like sell them to some hipsters so they can upcycle it into a vegan trestle table or whatever.
Imagine all the adverts you got on there that you just don't see anymore. All the nostalgia.
Yes, that's people have done compilations of those on YouTube, which I have watched sometimes.
They have. I've found myself diving into that hole, like adverts from 1984 or something.
Yes.
Like, oh my god!
And then you'll be watching something and going kind of like, is that Ross Kemp in a Cocoa Pops advert? And shit like that. It's just been like, what the fuck is going on? And it was Anthony Stewart Head in those fucking Nescafe adverts. You know, they were shagging, can I borrow a cup of coffee? That is fucking Anthony Stewart Head.
Giles, yeah.
But
Giles. He does have a name, but fuck him.
Here's the thing, guys. Do you still on your movie, even massively huge movies, like for me the one that comes to mind is Jaws, still expect an advert break coming at a moment?
Only one film.
Yeah.
Superman 2, when it goes, let us take her favourite, or his favourite.
And then it
always cuts to advert, and then comes back. Every single fucking time that was on TV, it would always put the adverts then. And whenever we were watching it once, I remember, like, I think it was just that I think I had it on DVD or something, and we were just watching it with my dad, and he just went, ad break.
Fucking hell.
And then another time, I think someone else went, oh, can you pause it here? And I went, I think that was ingrained in our heads as
I still, even when I watched Jaws, I still went, after they have the argument with the mayor, and he gets in, he goes, you know, but these beaches will be open for this weekend. Gets in the car, drives off. It cuts to Richard Dreyfuss sitting there, and he just turns to the camera, and you get the advert break. Like, every single time in my head, I expect it to go to an advert break.
I've purged all that from my head. As soon as I had the function to not have to watch ads, they were gone. And anyone who's kind of like, do you want to watch this on TV? I will usually go, no. I'll go buy it, or
I'm so good at pausing. And remember, like, you see the little corner thing in the top right corner of the screen, the little flickering cube. Coming up. So like, and then I'd get really good at pausing, and then they'd always have the advert for the TV show, and I'd always time it perfectly, so I would unpause the recording so it would record smoothly, and you'd miss all the adverts, and it would be like this perfect segue. Like, I always fucking I was obsessed with that when I was taking shit off TV.
That's how you become a video editor. I've had a question. I don't know if you guys know. I'll do the backstory for you, and I think people will want to know. And this is from Floyd in the chat. I once referred to the Alien 3 work print cunt on a video. So
it's good name for a punk band. What's his name? Giles and the Twat. No.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Is it? Maybe it's not a good punk name. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot. I know nothing of punk.
Anything with twat in works for punk.
Maybe it's these whiskey sours and Negronis. I have no idea.
Well, we had Duncan and I, back in the day when we used to be on Oliver Harper's channel, one day he pulled out Highlander for us to watch, and I don't think he quite appreciated that Duncan and I don't give a shit about Highlander. So Oliver was trying to defend it, and we were sort of going in on it, and then in the comments, it got really ugly because we just dissed Highlander relentlessly, and it became a whole thing. We've carried it over to this channel as a running joke that we hate Highlander because it really pisses people off, and that's hilarious. So Floyd75 Dylan asks, what are Mark and Brad's opinions on the original Highlander film and the up-and-coming reboot?
I have a very odd relationship with Highlander because I realized about 7 years ago that for a film I thought I didn't like, I fucking knew it so well. Like, I knew, like, lines. I knew... sorry, that's very course I knew lines, but like I just knew the film really well. Whereas there are so many films I don't like, I couldn't tell you a thing about them other than a few bits. And it was on then for some reason every night for a week on television about 4 years ago, and I watched it every fucking night. I was like, I'm just going to leave Highlander on again, and I think I rediscovered a bit of a like. There's something I love about it. I think I definitely appreciate the how it looks and the style and the energy, how much fucking fun it is. So I don't hate it. But
that was not an invitation to hate it. We realise that we're in the minority of people that it seems done anyway.
It's just something I can't figure out about it.
It's actually quite amusing because I was literally this literally happened a few days ago for the movie that I'm cutting now. We had a dinner with the cast and all that, and we were on separate tables. And James Rumsey, who's the first AD, who's also a producer who knows me very well, was on the table with one of the producers from America, and they were always having a discussion. And suddenly I hear this voice yelling out, Brad. And he points to Nick, the producer, goes, Nick hates Highlander. So I got up and threw my napkin down to come up to fight. Because I get shit for liking Highlander. To me, Highlander is a very rough around the edges, but incredibly inventive, and it was made it got me at the right time. It was a movie that was like one of the first movies that I watched, and the pure inventiveness of the direction and all the transitions and the way the camera moved and all that stuff. It just got me. So I look. I know it's not that low budget, but to me it feels like an amazing low budget movie that just really transcends its budget. And I mean, it isn't that high budget because they spent a lot of money on a couple of the cast, so they didn't have a lot of money to actually make the movie with. And I just think it's very inventive, and I love Highlander.
There you go. You're going to make so many people in the because mate, I'm surprised you get shit because Christophe Lambert. We get shit for hating it all the time, Brad. So that's going to make a lot of people in the chat very, very happy.
No, I do not. And in terms of the question about what do I feel about the remake, it comes down to this whole thing about remakes anyway. So for me, Highlander is a movie. I love Highlander just because of the ingredients that are in it, the way it's made, the way that Russell Mulcahy was just at that point in his career where he was coming out of music videos and could just do this flair.
It has a very music video thing to it, yeah.
Absolutely. And it all came together. To me, that's why that movie is great. Remaking it is pointless.
Henry Cavill, it would seem, is McLeod or is there?
Exactly. And I've got a soft spot for Henry Cavill, and I want to see him do something. But it's like remaking RoboCop. It's like if you're not gonna get those ingredients, there's no point to it.
Yeah, why are we here?
It's going to be slick. The sword fights are going to be amazing. It's going to be all that stuff. But I kind of like the character of it all. This is like my controversial opinion that no one seems to like that much whenever I bring it up is that the new Spider-Man films. I kind of think that like the cast is amazing. Like those kids are fantastic. But I'd rather take Sam Raimi's style and Tobey Maguire over like just because I like that type of filmmaking is more exciting. So my controversial thing is I could watch Spider-Man 3 any day of the week over any of the new ones because once you've seen the new ones once, I'm done.
I like the new ones very much. However, they're
very good. I'm not shitting.
Of all the Marvel films, and these are, I admit, they're the Sony thing as well. But of all the Marvel films, they are the most guilty of feeling like really expensive TV episodes. Like I really like them, and I like what's going on in the story and stuff. But in terms of cinema, there's not a lot going on there. You know what I mean? They're quite blandly made.
Yeah,
I absolutely acknowledge that.
I remember watching Spider-Man 3 the other day. Like just like Mark says, it's like Spider-Man 3 is not a good movie, and a lot has gone wrong with it. But
all the action scenes are great, though.
Still watching sequences in that, and you're like, this is a masterful director doing his thing, and I would still rather watch that in a movie that doesn't work in so many other areas than a bland film. Not that those Spider-Man movies are bland; they're very funny. They make me laugh.
They're really good. They are really good. But
once you've seen them once, that's it. But even Spider-Man 3, I can watch again and still get something out of.
Yeah, I don't get the thrill of the swell of the music and everything, and this, I don't know. There's something about it that's kind of great. There's something so great about the way Sam Raimi made those movies that not even Tobey Maguire can fuck about. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? And because I don't dislike what he does, I'm just able to get behind the characters and everything, and I just really enjoy it. So
we so I just wanted to say that we do have this is the Robert Picardo, the standard.
Are we at that point?
Yeah, Dick Miller, Robert Picardo scene.
Oh, this is so good.
Another amazing outtake on this, where Corey Feldman's just jumping up and down and making lots of noise, and Dick Miller just looks and says, "You shut the fuck up, kid. We're trying to do some acting here." And he looks like he wants to punch Dick Miller, but Dick Miller is like, "Don't even fucking try it." It's awkward but brilliant.
We have
that
Micah
dump in the street is there for the rest of the film.
Yes,
everyone's driving over it.
Yep, it stays there. No one clears it up. Brilliant.
Micah Brooks in the chat, Micah, if you've got Instagram and stuff, throw it up. He does these great caricatures. He did a really good one of Dick Miller, which I think you guys would really love. Yeah, really wicked little Dick Miller. Amazing artist, Micah, by the way. So I just wanted to draw attention to him. So, Micah, if you've got Instagram or social tags you want me to read out, just pop them in the chat.
Cool.
Just asked if you've seen the Dick Miller documentary. I haven't seen it yet, but it's on the list to get.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
That guy Dick Miller is called, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it's fantastic. But didn't we drunkenly tweet out one night, Mark, when we were in a pub, that we believe that Robert Picardo playing Martin Short playing Robert Picardo is one of the greatest performances in cinema history.
It's amazing. That's so
I went to you, Brad. Do you want to try fishing for Robert Picardo? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'll say something nice about him on Twitter. It's the morning in America. You might like it. I tried that. I tried that, and I did it another time with the woman from Sleepaway Camp. And I caught the woman from Sleepaway Camp. But I didn't. Robert Picardo did not.
Yeah.
I was just reminded recently. I fished for years for Richard Jackson from QVC, the gardener, because I'm constantly having people go to me like, "Do you know, there's a guy with your name on QVC." I was like, "I know." So I did a tweet with some other. There's another Richard Jackson who writes about counter-terrorism, and I tweeted to them, politely saying, I'm starting a Richard Jackson Avengers, who's in, and they all sort of ignored me. But then someone I know started asking me about glyphosate for weeds and when they're appropriate to use, and I said, "Ha ha, I don't know." But then QVC Richard Jackson got involved and started advising them on the glyphosate to use on their garden. So there you go. That's I pitched it lower, so much lower.
Hence you get a result.
Well, that's it, mate. Yeah, that's it. I'm going for the little fish. We have your dog.
There's another Mark Price, and he's a Skippy from Days of Our Lives. He's a nice guy. I kind of know him. But I get a lot of people asking me, "You're 52?" And I was like, "No." It says you're 52 on Wikipedia. And I'm like, I'm not. Oh, that'd be the other Mark Price, who I also like. We don't look anything alike.
Oh, my IMDb page is not terribly long, but I've been randomly credited as like a actor in some American film that I have nothing to do with. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I'm an actor now, like whatever the fuck, I guess. But I do have a really fucking common name, so these things are gonna happen.
Yeah, it's I think there was something else I was going to go with there, but it's gone. So I just caused an awkward moment in the.
We're going to say anything until you remember what it is.
Yes, we're going to sit in silence. All right, I just got Rob. Rob's asking if I got his messages. Yeah, Rob, I emailed you back yesterday, unless you messaged me on Patreon. Yeah, I sent you an email yesterday, Rob. I don't know if it's going to... Rob is working on Type 2 Bleed for us.
Oh, nice. What's he doing?
VFX things.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, Rob, I emailed you back yesterday afternoon, which I guess you haven't got. I can cut and paste it into... Maybe I'll send you a WhatsApp. How weird. Sorry, guys, just doing admin. Yeah, I'm going to do my tax return whilst you fuckers... yeah, Rob, I emailed you back yesterday, mate. Maybe I'll put your message on WhatsApp instead, if that's... I just took the picture in the box. Anyway, yeah, sorry, just wanted to give Rob the acknowledgement because I was thinking to myself today, did Rob see my email? Anyway, the Burbs, Joe Dante's the Burbs.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Burbs much, are we?
No, well, this is something we're accused of quite a lot.
Where are we at now? Where are we at?
This is our thing. Okay, so I want to kill everyone.
Once they get in here, it's over.
I love Richter Common, man. Like Last Action Hero as well, and fucking Die Hard. Shut it down. Shut it all down. He's so good because he passed away.
His cameo in Gremlins too. Yeah, he died not so long ago. Or maybe it's quite a while ago. I remember being quite surprised. But I think I knew he died at the time. It just was one of those things that, like, he was so young at the time, he just didn't. I
2015, bless him. So a few years ago now. But it's. I think he's such a good double act with Hanks. But then when Rumsfeld comes in as well, when Bruce Dern comes in as a threesome, because I think there's a few bits in this. They're like naughty little boys getting in trouble, and and there's all the slapstick stuff. But there's a bit, when they're him and Richter Common are standing in the garage, and Rumsfeld's looking across the road. Tom Hanks is like hanging on the tassel like a toddler. And then he puts his arm behind his back and he's like doing these little kind of kiddie movements. And, they just run around, like when Rumsfeld when he falls off the roof and fires the rifle and stuff. It's like they're just constantly framed as like being naughty little boys. And it feels like the Goonies for grown-ups in a way, in that they have their little boy adventure, but they're all grown men.
I synchronized watched this with a friend of mine a couple of months ago, and she said they're like children. It's brilliant. It's like they're adults, but they're children. It's amazing, and that was like the big takeaway. And
it's when you even have a sequence where they both coming out trying to get Tom Hanks to come out. And
they want him to come out and play, basically.
It's like, I think you have my answer. they just walk off like little kids.
And Bruce Stern's like from the Corman days, isn't it? Because like Joe Dante would have known Bruce Stern from like making those films with Roger Corman. And they've obviously like stayed really good mates, because I think he was in all of them. He was in Hull, and he was in I think he's been in quite a lot of Joe Dante films. So, it's pretty amazing.
And Henry Gibson has been in.
Yes, I fucking
so good.
I love Henry in Inner Space. Henry Gibson is incredible.
He's so good.
He's like security cam footage in Gremlins 2, and he's amazing.
It's the smallest part. Mate, the fucking Illinois Nazis in the Blues Brothers. It's when the cars flow through the air and the guy turns to me and goes, "I always loved you." And he does that. It's so good. Adrian Mendoza just gave us $5 in the super chat and says, "Great job, guys." Thank you, Adrian.
What have you done, Jack? What have you done?
Have you guys on the Arrow Blu-ray set? There's like the extended version of the dream sequence, because there's a cut of the film that's dubbed from a VHS. Have you seen that? Like,
yes.
So
no, I have that.
That set. Yeah, it's interesting. It's that
it is very interesting.
Did you watch the doc on there? The documentary on that set?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a shame, because I feel like clearly they didn't have a huge amount of budget for that.
No, it's quite badly shot, isn't it?
I didn't want to say that, but it is. Yeah, it kind of is. And when I was watching it, I was a bit like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And I guess they don't, because I don't imagine Tom Hanks gets out of bed for less than quite a bit of wedge these days. They're supposed to be quite an agreeable dude, but that doc is lovely, and Dante's in there, and Hans Klopax and stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Courtney, what's his face? Is brilliant in it. He loves it. He's just like so proud.
He sort of comes out as a star, doesn't he? Which is really nice. Besides, Dick Miller comes to take the bin away. It's great. That doc is really funny. He comes out dressed as the ice cream man as well. The killer ice cream man.
Yeah.
It's not really Chip, it's me.
It's so good. But it's the way it cuts through, like, it's so nice of you to invite the new neighbours over for a barbecue as he's being loaded onto a barbecue. It's amazing. The score is incredible.
Yeah, I just
I temp track the Western with so much stuff from the Burbs for Brad to come up with something like this. It's like, it's not funny. Except where it is.
do this, but not funny.
Don't score the comedy. Let the film. It's like,
I got a question for you both from Steve Allen, which I quite like, and it's scene appropriate. Steve asks, question to Brad and Mark: if you could make a fake video nasty from the 80s, what would the name be and what would the story be about? It's the Price Watson video nasty, which I would fucking watch.
It takes me months to come up with titles, and then
I would say you've both done things that would have once probably been considered video nasties. I think if like Hallows Eve or Colin had come out in 1982,
time ago.
You know what I mean?
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, that was my holiday to Germany. We don't talk about it. You've both directed kind of horror movies and stuff, so I think they're things if you'd released them in 1982 probably would have been called video nasties. I don't know.
Yeah, but is he going for like more for like some like a killer killer typewriter type thing? It's just like
no,
I'm the only one that's I'm the only one that can make murderous typing films.
We'll team up, right? Helevator. People go into a lift and it fucking shoots them.
Absolutely. Helevator, yes.
It's the backstory to the Shining thing, but we won't do it.
And can the sequel be called the Great Glass Elevator?
The Shining is too classy for us. We'll make like a schlocky piece of shit. We'll tell the story of how the blood comes out the doors.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll tell the story of what happens behind those doors. Shining.
Oh no, I'm in the hell of it. No, I do a film called Sock. I do a film called Sock 2, and if we got to kill a sock, it just chokes people from the ankle, and it would be 2 because people would think, well, we got to watch this because they didn't make. I missed the first one. It's got to be good if there's a sequel. So that it's
yes, right.
The cover would be like a woman in like pantyhose, like really hot, so she won't be in the film. And she would go, and that'll be the poster, and it'll be written in like a blood font. Sock 2. Yeah,
Sock 2.
Sock 2.
Yeah,
nice.
I think I'd like to explore the diabolical goings on that always result in that one shoe left in the street.
Diabolical.
I
like it.
On a railing or something.
We call the Sock 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's an extended universe there with your sock.
The kind of footwear.
Yeah.
Okay, my one would be about the Veruca sock for a swimming pool. A very similar theme to Mark's. It'd be considered a sort of rip off of Mark's. When the sock movies come out, mine would very much be the Deep Impact to his Armageddon.
Well, the three of us should do. Three of us should do movies that are blatantly the same freaking movie. It's like variations.
But it's got to be different types of socks, isn't it? So so your one is almost like they had to go more expensive because I imagine those Veruca socks are more expensive than shit I get from
mine have to be got from. You'd have to get mine from a chemist as well, I guess. I don't know.
It would be a slower burn attack. It'd be like they'd be in the swimming pool. They'd be like, my sock, my Veruca socks. Yeah, it's meant to be. And everyone knows what's wrong with your foot now, you sick fuck. And it'll be like all the prejudice, all the body shaming that people would feel when they had a Veruca sock on. And then, but then they'd go underwater, blah, blah, like Jaws, and then the pool would just go red. And visually, that would be amazing. You'll never afford it. It's that fucking expensive. The amount of chlorine you'd have to buy to clean that shit up, forget it. It's not going to happen.
There you go.
With today's digital effects.
Filmmaking tips with Mark Price.
I think my sock movie, the socks would be those glowy lime and pink socks that kids wore in the 80s, where they're almost like translucent, like when you saw a kid walking at dusk, they were like glowing like lightsabers on their feet.
I've got my sock fucking trilogy worked out. It ends with sock versus glove, and it's like Cousin Itch. Cousin Itch shit running around, and it'll take it'll be like two, like in King Kong with the fucking 3 T-Rexes, except with a Veruca sock. And I know, like the original sock. I don't know.
The original sock
versus the glove. The glove will be all like, it'd be fucking brilliant. We get the guy who was the hand from Idol hands and
Idle hands, nice.
Same guy, right? Something Hart was his name.
Oh, I didn't know that. He's a hand actor.
Same fucking guy was Thing from the Addams Family films.
Yeah.
And the hand from Idle Hands. Get him in.
Bruce Campbell's hand from Evil Dead 2.
He didn't debut as Michael Caine's hand in The Hand. Oliver Stone's mask.
And he wasn't the hand in The Handmaiden's Tale.
He was the hand. He was the hand that forced the baby's head onto the wrong breast to breastfeed.
The hand versus the hand that rocks the cradle.
Rebecca De Mornay running around with an axe. I'll fucking kill you.
This is look. That was Steve Allen. I think you got your answer. We've had a super chat from Wing Kong Exchange who says, "So guys, what's that £5 from Wing Kong Exchange?" He says, "What's the thing you hate the most about Duncan Casey?" poor Duncan on holiday.
Those good looks.
Yeah,
the irritatingly handsome bastard.
Ridiculously handsome. That's Can't
he's been. I can report that he's been, as far as I can tell, been effectively relaxing in that he hasn't messaged. He replied to a thing I put on Instagram and I nearly bollocked him for it. It's like, relax harder, which doesn't really make sense. But he seems to be chilling, which is good because he needed a bit of a chill out. He goes to me. Because he watched the stream last week, and I was like, "No, man, we'll do a gaming stream instead, and me and Ivan will do it. You can chill out." And he goes to me like, "Yeah, it turns out taking a dog and a baby to Cornwall is really hard work." And I was like, "Yeah, probably. I would have thought so. Yeah." So yeah,
I do. The thing I hate about Duncan is he doesn't like Highlander.
Well, you know.
Man, that was like a structured joke. Look at that. That's brilliant.
Callback.
Yeah.
Caspian S gives £5. And he says, "The hand that rocks the cradle versus my left foot."
Oh, that disabled left foot will get the shit kicked out of it by a healthy hand that rocks the cradle. I'll say that much.
The clue's in the title, you know.
He'll be fucking bumbling along down the street trying to get an award, and our fucking hand would fuck it right up.
Trying to get an award.
My sock wouldn't go on that foot. It's like, fuck off. I'm going to possess a healthier foot.
My Veruca sock would.
Which is fucked up, really, because if I remember correctly, that foot was great. It could draw and everything. Or write in chalk. I forget. It's been a while.
It's right in chalk, I think. I just found out. I don't know how you guys feel about Japanese horror movies, but I just found out that there's a Grudge versus The Ring film. So they did Sadako versus Kayako.
Is that going to be like the end of Alien versus Predator Requiem? I wouldn't know what the fuck is fighting what.
Well, here's the thing. Because those characters are exactly the same, right? And it would appear at the end of it's called Sadako versus Kayako. At the end, they merge into one creature, and it's like, well, all right.
Where do we live? In the TV or in a cupboard? Or the shadows? Where do we live?
Yeah, like is it down a well or is it in a loft? And the most telling thing about this is, it was initially announced as an April Fool's joke, and then it turns out it was a real film, and it's like, you're not doing yourselves any favors. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I just discovered that.
They should go and live in the dark water tank, and as soon as they get in, it's something they're going, the dark water ghost is in there going like, you're occupied, fuck out.
Yeah, now fucking what?
So was it like a Snakes on the Plane jobby, like that someone announced it as a joke and then someone went, actually, let's actually do it?
No, it seems like they were in production already.
Wasn't Cowboys versus Aliens something on a Spielberg film? Something was referred to as Cowboys versus Aliens.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's funny. And then that stuck.
And then that became a movie.
Would it have been Crystal Skull, maybe? Because that Harrison Ford, I don't know.
I think, was it before that? I thought it could have been.
No, I think Cowboys vs. Aliens was a bit after. I mean, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Brother Theodore has the most amazing face.
Yes.
Possibly in the whole world.
They're in the house now, by the way.
Sorry?
I was telling Brad they're in the house now because Brad, you're not watching.
Okay. Right.
And what they're having for the chat.
Hang on, no, Christ, where are we? Yeah, they're in for a chat and
bought the brownie.
It's when Art's got his camouflage, he's just got like some black shit smeared on his face, and he's wearing a tracksuit with lemon piping. That's his disguise. It's just great. It's perfect. It's a perfect story about useless people. I think that's what's so good. Everyone is so fucking used. They chuck the pickaxe over and hit him with it. It's great.
It's so good. Yeah, so the sneezing fit is coming up.
Bruce Dern's just about to rip the fucking wallpaper.
Oh my god, that's so good.
The funniest shit.
It's so good. He just does it. He just keeps going and then realises, oh.
This is a thing. How many are your viewers up on Star Trek, Rich?
Yeah, tend to be. Yeah, I saw. By the way, hi Annalise. I saw you pop in. Yes, you will get a lot of purchase if you talk about Star Trek in this chat. So.
Oh, cool! Just because the woman here, who's Bruce Dern's wife, she's the voice of the wife in American Dad, right?
Yeah.
And
is she?
She's also,
okay.
She's also the not to say that she's always the wife, but she's the Doctor's wife in his hologram family. And again, I think that was like, oh, I know her.
Which Doctor?
The Doctor in Voyager.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. So you got the Picardo. Sorry, yeah, he's the only one referred to as the Doctor. That is his name.
Although Mike Geary, do we know Mike? Do we talk about Mike Geary much on here?
People knows in Touch You Bleed.
Right, there you go. So Mike in Touch You Bleed, he was in the 90s. He was he was on the Deep Space Nine set, and he was just sort of hanging out with like Zimmerman, who was doing the sort of the sets and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, let me to the Deep Space Nine set," which he said is massive. And he just turned around and said to Mike, this guy he didn't know at all, went, "Oh, they're gonna name the Doctor from Voyager after me, you know?" And he goes, "Oh, cool." And because Mike, I don't think was that into Voyager at the time, he had no idea that for 3 years I watched that show. I was like, I want to know what he calls himself.
Yeah.
And he heard it actually from
the guy I didn't know till 20 years later.
Yeah, he got
Dr. Zimmerman.
He was dating someone, wasn't he, or something that was connected with Star Trek? Isn't that right?
Yeah. It was, he was dating someone who was on one of the cast. So he was like, could have been in First Contact. It's really weird actually, because like I fucking adore First Contact, and I don't really. It's like I know someone who's on the set of Jaws, and I've not pestered them about it because it just feels like, oh, I'm talking about an older life that is like in his past, and I'm sort of like, oh, fuck. Like, I should speak to him before he dies or something. I mean, I like to think he's got a good 40 years left, but, I'll regret it what if he steps in front of traffic? You know what I mean?
Well, I know.
But what if you bring it up and then he steps in front of traffic because of you? That's the other way around.
I've got my answers. You don't have all your shots, so... It's also you learn the valuable lesson of shoot everything when they're there.
And then you get a Meet Joe Black situation.
His face on like a still image, like fucking Mel Gibson in those South Park episodes. That's it.
It was only a couple of weeks ago that we were around yours, Mark, and I was very drunkenly jumping up when you were playing the First Contact soundtrack, and I was like, play Fly the Phoenix, play Fly the Phoenix.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, I think I was, because all these vinyls I've got kicking around. I went through a phase.
We're grown men, apparently.
No.
It was good. I was listening to that playlist. I remember like whacking one together really quickly, thinking, shit, I've got no entertainment. I'm the worst host ever. And and then I was just sort of listening to it. I've been listening to it ever since. I'm quite pleased with it. I drunkenly slammed together a playlist that is now one of my regular rotations.
Yeah, no, we had a great.
Sorry, that killed the fucking conversation. Sorry, I'll do better.
No, I'm just reading a message quickly. Sorry.
No. We haven't really talked about Carrie Fisher much. She's so just fucking dependable, man. Dependable. She's a great foil to Hanks. I do feel like, unfortunately, she doesn't get a hell of a lot to do in this, and then she kind of has to go pretty much for the third act.
I've always found her like amazing in this. I watching it last time when I watched it a few weeks ago. I was just like, I was attracted to Carrie Fisher in the Burbs.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know when that happens. I think I'm an adult now, so
really
more mature.
Hot suburban mum vibes. That's the
The best thing is though is she does have the line where she says before someone falls off a roof or sets fire to themselves, and two very specific things that actually happen.
Oh, she has to be. Her thing is to be exasperated. That's her house setup. Here's a film I'll go into bat for that not many people will, and it's got Carrie Fisher in. Fucking Drop Dead Fred. Drop Dead Fred's fucking great.
Yeah,
I'll die on that hill, and she's great in it. Small role, but that is her that reminds me how adult that is, because she's talking about like stooping her boss. Oh, here comes Gibson. He's so good. I love this because it's such a the other Klopeks are portrayed as being total freaks, but then the kind of genial, educated doctor walks out.
Yeah.
And I think this is the most Henry Gibson you can get.
Yeah.
And a lot of horror people would love to get blood to look as good as this supposed hate.
Yeah. That's the sweet irony of it all, isn't it?
Yeah. There's where the shadow gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then tiny little Gibson walks out, and then there's just this dramatic pushing on Brother Theodore. He goes, "My brother, the doctor." It's a really dramatic moment. And I love the way he reveals all those candles. It's just like a sea of flames, and he's like, "I thought the candles would be romantic for the women." It's like a bonfire of flame.
Oh, the painting as well.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's just... Oh man!
Look, the inferno of candles. It's great.
I mean, that looks fucking dangerous. Those net things, those are going to go up, man.
My ex's childhood home, semi-detached house, the neighbours next door left a candle on the TV, set their house on fire and burnt down her house's roof. And there's a portion in her childhood where she was in a fucking bedroom with a tarp for a ceiling because they had nowhere else to go for an evening. Yeah, crazy. So bless her. Every time there was any suggestion of candles, she'd be like, "I'm putting something beneath that." Like if you pulled it out of a cupboard, she'd appear like a ninja with a little thing to put underneath it. Bless her, because it's really fucked up. Whereas me, I'm just irresponsible twat. I'll put them anywhere. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
And Henry Gibson is so excellent in Magnolia. You guys seen that?
I've never seen Magnolia actually.
Oh man, I fucking love Magnolia. And I was just like, he's not in it much. I remember him being in it a lot more, but I think his presence is so strong, and he's him and William H. Macy, it's fucking brilliant. And I find his scenes. I think his scenes are on YouTube. Just fucking great.
Isn't Daniel Robards is in Magnolia as well, isn't he?
Oh, Jason Robards.
Why did I call him Daniel Robards? Jason Robards. Yeah, because he's someone.
It's his last film, I think. I think he was sick when they were doing it. So he's playing a guy on his deathbed. I think he was sick when they made it. I can't remember. I think I'm remembering something from a documentary where he was like, "Oh, he's really sick." That's not. He didn't have that in the film.
I put him in a similar bracket to Gibson. I didn't know Gibson was in Magnolia, but for different reasons. I don't really know why. They turned up in similar films around similar times.
I've never seen Henry Gibson do anything like that. See, I think I've only ever seen him doing sort of like the cute Dante-ish, sort of like vulnerable sort of characters. And then to see him being quite kind of cruel, he knows more about William H. Macy than William H. Macy does, and I think it's pretty great, good stuff. But it's better if we've seen it, because then we.
Yes,
I'm talking about it. I'm just going to repeat. It's really good. He's really good. They're really good. Oh, it's fucking great. Oh, there's shots. Oh, no.
I said a movie I haven't watched in a while. Which, because I just think I'm just sidetracking to Jason Robards for some reason. Quick Change with yeah. It's coming out on TV this year, right? Oh, is it
this year?
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's a two-hander with Howard Franklin and Bill Murray directing it, but you got Gina Davis.
Oh God, yeah.
Jason Robards is the cop. Gina Davis, Randy Quaid, and Bill Murray, and it's the bank, because it opens on that's one of those movies I always remember seeing the intro to, because it's got the strongest opener when he walks into he robs a bank dressed as a clown, and you're just going, well, what the fuck's going on here? It's really, really good, strong opening scene.
Was there a little? I remember the Three Fugitives had similar stuff. Remember that with Martin Short and Nick Nolte?
No.
Yeah,
it's got one of the funniest visual gags where Martin Short runs into a fucking bank and he's got a grenade. He goes, "I'm gonna rob this place. If you don't fuck with me, I'm gonna blow this place up." And he pulls the pin of the grenade through the stocking, and as he does that, the stocking splits and just reveals his face. And he's just like, "Shit!" It's fucking perfect. And then he goes to the robbery, and then he basically gets Nick Nolte as a hostage, and Nick Nolte's like, "Don't take me as a hostage. I'm fresh out of prison. They're gonna think I did this." And of course, that's exactly what happens. They think Nolte just organized a robbery, and now he's pretending to be a hostage. This is bullshit. He's like, "I really am a hostage."
That sounds great. Really good. Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
My memory is good. I haven't seen it since I was about 11.
That's kind of like around the same time as was it? What was the James Woods and Michael J. Fox one?
Oh, The Hard Way. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Those sort of team up buddy movie type things.
Yeah. What was it? 48 Hours that kicked that off. The mismatch.
I think so.
Well, the Tom Hanks Dan Aykroyd version of Dragnet is yet another one that when I was a kid, I didn't know what fucking Dragnet was, so I didn't know it was a comedy remake. And comedy remakes of old shows became such a big deal in the 90s and later. Yeah. But that as a movie was one I used to similar thing to this. It's slightly kind of grown up comedy. Well, that's more than slightly grown up Dragnet, isn't it? It has all the kind of kinky sex stuff and when they empty their pockets in the police station, all the drugs fall out, and it's all those like different coloured pills and shit just like spill out all over the table, and they're wearing bondage gear and stuff.
Yeah. Thank God it's Friday.
Yes, thank God it's Friday. Oh yeah, I need to watch that again actually.
But when Christopher Plummer died, I put out a message saying, obviously, General Chang and in Star Trek and Sound of Music and Battle for Britain and all these classics. But I said, but I have to mention him as Reverend Whirly in Dragnet.
Yeah.
He's so good in it, especially the moment where Dabney Coleman says to him, "There's a Reverend, you've got balls as big as church bells," and Plummer just goes, "Well, thank you." It's amazing. He actually genuinely likes that compliment.
You just said that as Tom Hanks pulled the toupee out of his trousers.
No, I'm thinking, I found the snake. All these bits are in the trailers. That's the thing. Like when you'd rent movies, you'd be very familiar with everything based on the trailers. Yeah. You could repeatedly see. And I think I remember seeing the trailer for King Kong Lives on Big. I had Big, and I really went to see I think it was Big. I went to see King Kong Lives. I was like, I need to see that. I love King Kong. Of course, when I did eventually see it, it was I mean, I liked it at the time because I was young and didn't understand what a bad film was. So I couldn't compute that. I was like, I'm just going to watch this again. There's something wrong with this one.
Hilariously bad. I mean, that is hilarious.
The same guy made the 70s one, which for all its flaws is at least earnest. Yeah. The other one. They fucking crane lift a fucking robot heart, like from fucking RoboCop.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is. And they spent it because of those the De Laurentiis ones, aren't they? They spent like a soup.
It's two stuntmen in monkey suits making gooey eyes at each other, and they get top billing above like everyone else.
It's essentially like when they put the gorilla suit on the guy in the end of Trading Places. It's how it looks like for a whole film.
I do. Is Linda Hamilton? Is Linda Hamilton?
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton is in King Kong Lives.
King Kong
Lives. Yeah.
And that's post Terminator, right? King Kong Lives is after Terminator.
Yeah. Weird career that one. Do you know what, man? We've been like Terminator Dark Fate was not good, but she was great in it, and she does little cameos and things, but she mostly doesn't act. And I think we've really been robbed of Linda Hamilton as a performer. I think she could have done so many amazing things, but she said she had a bit of a shit time in Hollywood and stuff like that, so she just sort of pulled away from it, which is a real shame. So I think she's got real presence and she's got real kind of chops and stuff. That movie sucked, but like it was so nice to see her in it, starring in a thing. I'm not going to watch it again.
It was very nice to see her in it, but I didn't like the way they wrote her character.
No, oh God, no, nothing. No, nothing about it was good. But just her being there, she delivered. Do you know what? She wasn't phoning it in. She gave it her all, Like
No,
the way they
absolutely.
wrote her, the whole thing was miserable. But
Yeah.
she gave it 110%, and it's so obvious. Like there you go.
Yeah. Hey, someone just put a really interesting tweet. Floyd the Twat, love it. Dragnet was cut by the BBFC. The reason poster of Enter the Dragon is seen where Bruce Lee's holding nunchucks. That was the Furman era, right? The James
Furman who detested nunchucks.
Yeah.
And ear claps and nunchucks were the things.
The thing that cracked me up was apparently someone took nunchucks into the BBFC offices to say, look, they're fine, and proceeded to knock himself out. He went, I think I'm correct. Yeah, that was fucked up. It didn't work out as planned. Imagine if that guy was all like, but it was fine. Instead, he went there and totally Mac from Always Sunny himself. Knocked himself out.
And that's why we couldn't have nunchucks in films until, 1999, when the changeover happened?
He retired, and then everything got fucking
Dude,
released.
when Robin Duvall took over, hardcore pornography, nunchucks, how to make your own bombs, double ear claps.
Exorcist.
Yeah, The Exorcist, yeah.
But coincidentally, A Clockwork Orange came out, and it was like, oh, it's because of the band. It's like, no,
Kubrick
died.
Yeah.
Kubrick
Kubrick
Like,
died.
he went, fuck you don't appreciate my art, you don't get it.
Until I'm dead. Well, I was thinking kind of similar thing earlier, like with Spielberg, things don't tend to get remade or sequelized, but like you said, apart from Jurassic Park. I'm not being morbid, but I guess when he goes, you're more likely to see some of his stuff.
You get a Jaws remake like that.
Well, I kind of thought for ages, I never thought that George Lucas would sell Star Wars. And I always thought you would get the untouched Star Wars movies when George Lucas passed away.
I think it's because they don't have them. I think that's what I think it's because they don't have them. They've got what I think there'll be something in a contract. He's like, no.
There's a contract. There'll be something in the contract.
Well, they've been they've been some like Brad and I watched. I've got the kind of bootleg restorations of them, and they're pretty seamless because we watched we watched the Return of the Jedi one.
They're great.
And they're really well done. So I think they could release some. You know what I mean? If you can put in a fucking hooting aardvark doing a 9-minute musical number into Star Wars, you can, take the same shit out again.
I watched the New Hope, and I'd heard about it, but obviously I hadn't seen the film since hearing about it. So when Greedo just throws in that old McClunky, I fucking shit myself laughing. I was fucking screaming. It must have sounded like someone was being murdered.
Some of them are so baffling, man. They just because I suppose it stops now, but they just kept doing these patch updates to Star Wars, and you just couldn't keep up with it.
That was this last one. I think George Lucas was like, "This will be fun."
Well, do you know what? He put the new thing into Return of the Jedi as well, and I think as a troll, that's genius.
How I laughed so much.
If I was dropping the mic and taking my $12 billion, I'd do that as well. I'd CGI so Vader's got his dick out for the whole trilogy.
He achieved everything in Jedi with all the emotion behind the mask. With it, there's a great bit where Luke is like, okay, then my father's truly dead, and he walks off, and then Darth Vader's by himself in the gantry, and he walks up, and he's just just has a moment, and you're like, fuck, I know what he's thinking. This is amazing.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you do that with an emotion span?
The amazing genius of the design of that mask before anyone even knew what it was going to have to do.
Yeah.
And it does it all in Jedi. It's amazing.
Just know
and the lighting, the way it's when he's seeing Luke getting ghostbusted by the Emperor, he's there's lighting that hits him that makes it look like he's expressing.
It's amazing.
When he gets sorry, can we just say when he gets ghostbusted? That was great.
Richard Edlund lighting, man.
Yeah. It's that look. It's that look.
It is an absolute wish of mine to bring that style of animated lightning back into movies.
I need one for my movie. You can do mine. It's for half a frame.
When he knocks over the thing knocks over the tower, and there's a little bit of 80s blue lightning in it as it falls over. I remember going, fuck! It's like everything else was so throwback to 80s sci-fi that with that little blue lightning, I went, fuck, this film has everything.
Yeah. It's that, the Ghostbusters, Big Trouble in Little China, all the Richard Edlund stuff. It's just sort of organic and just wraps around things. I want that back.
The Jedi one, the Edlund's one in Jedi is Yeah, because it's like tentacles. When he has him, it kind of wraps around and stuff.
Yeah.
And...
See the thing, right? Do you know when I was a kid? Return of the Jedi, when he zapped him and he stops, he goes, "Now, young fool, you will die." I thought it was because the Emperor gave him fucking cancer from all the lightning.
Fucking hell.
Because I was in the 80s, right? You lived next to power pylons. All these fucking kids were getting cancer. I was aware of that. We didn't live too far from one. I went, so when he goes, "No, you'll die," and I was like, "Happy end with you also, but Luke still has cancer."
Now you will die in 8 to 10 years. If you don't respond to treatment, you will die.
Like when I watched The Last Jedi, I'm expecting Luke to be fucking bald. I was like, I guess he pulled through. Technology from a long time ago is a lot better than
he responded to treatment in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, but I genuinely thought that.
I just saw in the chat. Is it Worms T17?
T17.
I think he's quoting Masters of the Universe, which Richard Edlund did as well. Where Skeletor's going, "Power, ultimate power," and Richard Edlund was going on around him as well. Yeah, yes, good one.
Oh, I should say, so Rob Myers in the chat, who I mentioned earlier, he works in Hollywood on VFX stuff. He was on Endgame and all kinds of things, and Spider-Man movies and things. So he probably has things to say about lightning, I would imagine.
Most probably.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's so much work that goes into it. People think it's just a fucking. This is the really fucked up thing about modern effects. People think it's a button you push and no CG. Yeah. It's all the same work goes into it. Yeah. It's just it's just put together differently. So it's digital instead of optical, and it looks real. Not for some fucking reason, because a lot of it looks convincing. People think it's easy, and it's mental. This whole
it's a similar thing I found with video stuff. People think if it takes 2 minutes to watch, it took 2 minutes to make. And I come up against that a lot, and it's insane. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just there and it all happens. It's like, well, it's not fucking magic. Like, what did you think I did to make this? Yeah, it's and I see the benefits of obviously like practical effects. They're amazing. Like they're the most exciting because you don't know what you're going to get. There's so much factors that just happen, and you go, oh, that's a happy accident. That's in there, and you don't necessarily get that, but. For the effects to work, like if you look at something like I remember, was it the second Captain America film where they're walking through that hangar? I remember thinking, that's like that can't be there. That looks amazing. Like it's to be fair, I was watching a crappy copy on my phone at the time, but I was just like that looks amazing. That's where we are now. Where a lot of so seamless. So many times in the last few years, I've been watching a video on YouTube, and then you'll suddenly see a thing. And it's green screen, and you're just like, I had no idea. I thought that was a location. Like the stuff on The Mandalorian with that new kind of Unreal tech that they use, it's fucking seamless.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. But the problem is that I think the reason that we have such a nostalgic love of the stuff that we do, and people still do look back on that stuff, as opposed to what effects movies are like now, is because you can see any kind of image on the screen now, and there's not one part in you that goes, "Oh, how did they do that?" Because CGI, as much work and as much talent goes into it, you know what it is. Whereas back in those days, you would see a dragon from Dragon Slayer flying around, and you would be like, "How did they do that? What was that? What was the combination of effects that did that?" You would see, mate. The big is like Roger Rabbit or things like that, where people are just like, how the hell did they? How is that cartoon holding that real gun? How did they do that?
Yeah.
You just didn't know, and that's the kind of the blown away wow factor that you don't get, even though you see. I mean, I think we got told off one time, Richard, when we were banging on when we did a
Blade
review
Runner.
of Blade Runner. Yeah, that there's so many models in that movie, but even now we see those, and which are wonderful and beautiful models and fantastic, but in the era of CGI, you don't watch that imagery and go, "Oh, how did is that model?" Your brain just knows that CGI does all this stuff.
We're all kind of inoculated to it.
Yeah,
which is a real shame.
That's the shame, I think. There's no how did they do that wow factor to effects anymore. Which is just the way it is. There's nothing to do about it.
We had miniatures on our sci-fi, and people like, "Oh, cool CG," and I'm like, it's a miniature. That's like it's like that was a miniature. That one isn't. And they, like I know where they are, but it's it's an interesting thing. But I love it though. I've always, if people assume it's all CG, what I translate that to is you're just rating the effects, and I'm fine with it. But
I need to read something from. I saw something in the chat that I wanted to read, and Steve Allen has asked me to read it, and it's from Dan Lyles, who just comes out with these crackers, and I think you'll both appreciate it. Going back to Star Wars, sorry, that was a very serious conversation about CGI stuff, but I've been prompted, and I think you're going to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is from Dan. This is when Dan's friend was watching Star Wars. My friend thought that when Kenobi was struck down, he teleported away, but he couldn't take his clothes with him. And when he said, "Run, Luke," he was still alive somewhere, but naked.
Like in the Terminator, he's just shown up in like another place. Like,
he's just standing in a broom cupboard with his hand over his bollocks. Run, Luke! Use the Force! Is
he in the X-Wing with him then? Just naked?
He's in the gunner seat with his dick out.
Like really old man testes just fucking swinging low by his knee.
So I think every Force Ghost in the subsequent films, he should be stood there cupping himself naked. Well, it is true from a certain point of view.
By the time he's talking to Luke in the X-Wing, he's found a clothes store and he's putting on Pokemon underwear. And
he's got like a Pikachu onesie on.
Exactly. He's like found something to cover himself up with. Trust your feelings.
To bring us back to the serious point. So Rob, who I said he works in VFX, every time some new tech development happens in VFX, everyone thinks it will eliminate jobs. No, directors just see that now they can get 100 times more detail in every shot. You'll still be home late.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that it's a weird attitude with film where I think people resent things when film moves forward. So digital instead of film, people hate it. They were so upset about it. Same with visual effects. Cinema's a medium that's never stood still, but there's so many traditionalist sort of values in it. It's just baffling to me. And if film hadn't moved on, I know I wouldn't be making films. I can't afford to get film, and then if it doesn't develop, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong. I just,
we never would have finished ours. There are so many things I compromised on. We were going to use real blood. But on the day, I just kind of went, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We can't. Sorry. And I was just like, I'll do it digitally. Oh, one of my batteries has just gone. Piss. I'll do it in a minute. It's got
very atmospheric, Rich. It's got very red and intense.
This is. I look like I'm in a fucking damaged submarine or something. We just
red alert! Make all the lights dim and atmospheric in a situation where we should be able to see more.
It just looks cool.
The irony being that my red alert would be very brightly lit so everyone can see the buttons. But not in the film, obviously. I'd totally go dark. But,
I have a slightly different, very old man view of what you were just talking about. Digital film. And I
film, you get real budget sometimes.
Exactly. But I also say that without digital, there wouldn't be as much of a, shall we say, influx of to be kind of mediocre filmmakers.
Say what it is, fucking shitty movies.
No, absolutely no. And I honestly believe that someone as talented as you, Mark, would be getting bigger budgets and making stuff. And there'd be other people that wouldn't be able to hack that. There's more nuance to my argument there, but I do. That's a very brief. But
I think it's the Romero thing where distribution is when he made like the Living Dead. Distribution was easy. Mm-hmm. Making the films was hard. Yeah. Now making the film is easy, and getting distributed is hard because it's all the platform. I mean, I keep mentioning this because Rob Savage, the guy that did Host, right? I know Rob, and Rob is Rob's been making films like that for a decade, but no one gave a fuck. But on Shudder, he found a platform where everyone went, "Holy shit, this guy's really talented." Yeah. There's no new news there. That's been the case for 10 years. It's just that there was no platform for him for people to see that. And the same thing with Lee Cronin, who's doing the new Evil Dead remake. Lee has been making amazing films for about 15 years or something. And but it was only when because he made one through the Irish Film Board that got to Sundance, and Sam Raimi just happened to be sitting in the audience. It was like, oh, let's go get some lunch, and they got on really well, and now he's doing Evil Dead. So it's it's kind of amazing how just getting the platform that can be the ticket sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do need to. Sorry, guys, another super chat. Also, Tom Hanks just walked out smoking from the building, which I love. Kate
I'm so sorry to everyone that came to cheer us.
Dude, this happens. This happens all the time. Don't worry. I love. See, that is such a great in-camera thing where the porch collapses as he walks out.
The way he slides down those steps.
Yes,
he just slides down them. And he could have easily fallen over then, and they still had that gag ready to go.
Yeah. It's because he has to be covered in that stuff that makes him smoke. Anyway, Cade gave $5 US dollary dues. He says, "Happy Thursday, guys. I'm curious what your thoughts are about the theatrical cut and the work print version, including the difference in endings. Thanks." And that's from Cade. So, what do you think about the work print cut and the theatrical version of this and the different endings? We did touch on it a little bit earlier.
I've only seen the ending as a deleted scene. I haven't seen I haven't seen it cut into the film. So is that what the work print version is?
I think the work print version mostly. I think it has the same. It has the extended dream sequence in the middle as well. That's the main thing I remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the work print ending is. There was a version, because I know they talked about a version where it just ended with the Klopex in the ambulance revealing that it was him all along, and
oh yeah, that's
and
right.
Tom
Yeah,
the ambulance goes off, and It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood starts playing as they go away, and I can't remember whether I've got the Blu-ray with the word version on.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember if that was in. I don't think
Hey, you put it on for us, and I just was like, obviously fucking smashed.
No, we don't.
I have an issue where I forget shit.
We watched it when we were very drunk. I remember that. I'm trying to remember exactly what the actual. I don't think that is the version of this. I think there's another one.
I mean, I will say for my part, I think the theatrical version is perfectly formed. It doesn't leave me wanting anything. I think it's fine as it is. You know.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Isn't it in the word print? Henry Gibson has a whole speech about them. The normal suburban. Henry Gibson has a speech as a tirade about it all.
But I do think the theme of the film of the Klopex being all right, they're just like not conventionally the same as the other people. I always thought that was the sweet message. That message isn't lost, because like we were saying earlier, how sorry I felt for them when they were just looking at everything destroyed.
Don't judge people for being different and stuff. It's
it was something about it that got in there, and I sympathise with them constantly, even though it turns out at the end they are like murdering people in this version. But Ron Howard's dad, I totally forgot. But there's the thing with this is I don't know, but I do love that fucking music so much. And hey, Pinocchio, where are you going? All that amazing. So it's kind of like, in a weird way, like my brain can detach them and enjoy them all. It's almost because this is the thing that happens. Yeah. Like deleted scenes on DVDs, as from a filmmaker side of it, that's the worst thing ever. Because now everyone's got the ability to go and edit the film in their memory, and this is a thing that happened again with Star Wars. There are all those deleted scenes with is it Michael Pennington, the dude who Vader's giving shit to at the beginning? Well, he outranks Vader in the film, and there's bits he's like, "You aren't coming into this fucking lift, mate. Get the fuck out of here!" Like, that's the news on. And he's and Darth Vader's like, you fucking choke. Have this, you cunt, and he chokes him. And again, not the actual words, but so there's another scene later on in the film where the Emperor's like, he says, I can't remember his piece, he's basically telling Vader off slightly, and behind him you see Michael Pennington sort of like holding back a smirk. So I'm able to look at that and go, cool, I've put all those other scenes in now, and I've got that relationship between them that I've totally invented for this version of the film I'm watching, when I should actually watch it and go, why is that actor fucking suppressing a grin? What is this, Dr. Strangelove? But like, those are the things, the deleted scenes can corrupt a film sometimes. So, but I think with the Burbs and that ending, I'm able to sort of, detach them both and accept the theme of the film whilst enjoying and by the way, here's a crazy, wacky ending where what if Tom Hanks was right? Like the lady gremlin at the end of Gremlins 2. I don't think that's a fucking tease for Gremlins 3. I'm not that fucking stupid. It's clearly a joke just to wrap the film up.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. It's the road. It's the roads where we're going. We don't need roads. You know? And it's,
yeah.
But I agree. And I was alluding to that earlier. I in my brain, the movie does end with Tom Hanks' speech, or the story ends, and then we have this little. Here's a treat for you.
Throwing himself into the ambulance right now on the stretcher. Yeah.
It's great. That's what I mean about his physicality as well. Because he flops down, then he picks it up like a pillow and chucks it in the back and gets it.
Because no one puts him in, he picks it up and just throws it up. I need a doctor.
So what if they're a little weird? So what if they keep themselves? Can you blame them? They live next to people who break into a house and burn it down when they're gone for the day.
I've got another super chat from Wing Kong Exchange. He's given a few tonight, so thank you. £5. What's your favourite alternate cut of a film? Love you guys. Hope you get to return soon. So what's your favourite alternate cut of a film?
Love you too.
You go, Brad. I think you can come up with one quicker than me.
No, I'm trying to.
Can I tell you what? I'm gonna, because Cade Fisher's come in with another, so I'm gonna package these together because they're fairly similar. So, what's your favourite alternate cut of a film? Cade says $5. Is there a film you think is better through an extended director's cut than the original theatrical cut? So they're very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually going to go there with the previous question, and that's totally relevant. I think the extended cut of The Abyss.
Right.
Makes it a different movie and a better movie. I remember I loved The Abyss at the time, and it was cool, and it was Cameron, it was cool, and the effects. But I remember when I saw the extended version, I was like, oh my god, now it all makes sense. So I think I will always go with The Abyss.
Oh, I want to have another one so people don't feel ripped off. But I think that's the right answer. I wouldn't have thought of that. I was like, yeah, of course, that wouldn't have popped in there right now. I know that there's extended cuts of films that I kind of think there are good bits in them, but on the whole, there's another version that's better. So, I think with Lord of the Rings, I think I watched all three of them over Christmas, and I think it was a couple of Christmases ago, but they were the ones on Netflix, because where I was, it was easy to watch them. And I went, I suppose I could do this. And man, they flowed. It was so easy to watch. We sat through, we watched all three of them. And I was just like, fuck me, this is just incredible. And I'd never done that. Since having the option, I'd always watched the longer versions. But the theatrical cuts flowed. And I think you then, Brad, said to me, Peter Jackson said, those are his cuts. Yeah. The extended versions are just kind of fun for you to watch over the course of a week.
Yeah.
Never watched any of them that way, but there's things that Return of the King is the one where if I could find the time to edit in Christopher Lee what happens to that Elephant Man orc and put all those things together, so there's not so many loose ends. So I remember watching it thinking, they left a lot out because they know that there's going to be an extended version, which I don't think they did do. But at the time, I assumed that's what they did, and I was like, "Oh, that's a shame." So, I want to watch it all now.
There is some weird omissions in the theatrical version where you're like, especially Christopher Lee, but But then you had things like the weird Close Encounters special edition. Where Spielberg wasn't happy with the release of the movie. They hadn't finished it. They released it. It was a huge hit, and he said, "Okay, can I please finish it and release it?" And they said, "Well, but we can't re-release it unless we have something to hook that on." So they said, "Can we see inside the ship?" And we would. So his version of that movie is the extended is the special edition, but without the interior of the spaceship, because they put that in for marketing reasons.
There are things in that as well that I'm kind of like, because there's lots of scenes in the version I think he settled on, the one that's on Netflix at the moment. There's lots of stuff with press and the government, and one of the things I always thought was really interesting was that, it always felt like there wasn't the eyes of the world on them. They were so alone. It was almost like, because my biggest, when I was reading about the Enfield hauntings when I was a kid and thought, if that was real, the scary thing is they're not rich. They can't just move. That's not an option for them. They're stuck there. Yeah. And I thought, well, if your kid gets taken by a fucking alien, you're a single mum, who's going to believe you? What are you going to do? There's no way you can go. So by having the government in there and acknowledging it and being kind of cool, and she's not being arrested because, you just fucking buried your kid in the swamp, lady. There's none of that stuff in there. But by having the government, it makes me ask those questions. I think it was kind of cool to not have that stuff, even though that scene with the dude and the fucking ashtrays and the Bigfoot that's fucking amazing. That's the fucking old man from Home Alone, isn't it? That's the shovel dude from Home Alone.
Oh yeah,
the shovel dude, the snow clearer.
He's in a few Spielberg things. He's in Amazing Stories, Spielberg episode.
Yeah, which one's he in?
The train one. Yeah. And he's in Always as well. He's the bum, the hobo in Always that can communicate with the dead.
Was that when he first played a bum and went, you know what? I got needed bum casting bracket for the
there's a few typecast bums. There's the bum from They Live. That's the bum in Back to the Future. There's a bum in something else.
Yep.
Buck Flowers, thank you.
Back to the Future, the crazy drunk drivers.
Just quickly, Joe Zilla gave $5 late to the party. I'm sure it's been mentioned, but Rick DeCommon is fantastic and should have been a bigger star. Yes. There was Joe. There was some Rick DeCommon talk earlier. Certainly was. And
we're very sad that he went so soon.
Yeah. But hey, he did some cool shit. So you know.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't this do? This does the the crane up credit street ending is a lost art.
Oh yeah, the reverse. Right.
Well, the thing is, once you do that after coming away from Corey Feldman looking directly down the lens, saying, "I mean, you can't do it anymore. That's it. It's reached zenith.
That's it. It's done. It's done."
Yeah.
Die Hard has a good one as well. It's just one of those nice. It's one of those nice things. It's something I could do a cheap version of with.
There's so much atmosphere to all the fucking paper flying. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I found if I put my gimbal on a monopod, you can get a really good crane up, a really good jib, and it looks really expensive, and it fucking isn't. And the best thing to do is if you stand on something high and point it down, you end up getting like 18 feet's worth of motion, and it looks like a crane. It's really dangerous. You could probably kill someone, but the results are really good.
You could in a step ladder, do it, just hand it up to that.
Yeah, you go, hand it off. I did it. I've done it at conferences, and people thought I had like a mini drone and shit. And it's like, no, it's a gimbal on a stick. But, it fucking works. So,
brilliant.
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
Look at his cheeky little face.
Yeah. Oh. Shut the fuck up, kid. We're trying to do some acting here. Look, see this end shot. Did Dante ever plan that end shot? It kind of just fades to it instead of doing all the classy, awesome.
Yeah, it's sort of a rushed reverse version of it, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like, did someone just play it in reverse and speed it up?
I think they just went, well, let's bookend it with the same shot. But
Hanks's end card is him eating his sardine off a pretzel.
Amazing. Didn't he? I remember the time that Tom Hanks is awesome when he's on when he was on Graham Norton and formed the entire Dragnet rap.
Yes.
He remembers it.
Oh my god,
he remembers.
Yeah, he seems like a fucking cool geezer, doesn't he? Tom Hanks, like anything.
I don't know if this is how it happened, but I think if I'm remembering it right, someone went up to him and said the first line from the big sort of thing that the two kids say, their little fucking back and forth rhyme, and Tom Hanks just went right back, and then the pair of them did the whole fucking thing. And like his muscle memory is amazing, because actors I know who obviously do, like, they say once you do it and you've got the scene done, it just disappears. Yeah. So when you want to get them back, it's like, oh, we need to reshoot this scene or something. Not that I've ever gone through that. But if you ever have like do a scene again and just change a few things, they have to relearn it. It's not there for them just to pluck out and to quickly shoot. It's I know some friends who work on soaps who have had to do that, and they're just like, fuck, we're going to go back and do this back. What was it? Give us the script. Because don't you remember it? Because no, that was a month ago. I've done like 100 hours since.
Soaps is the fucking coalface of that, though, isn't it? The amount of material those guys have to learn is insane.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. Like soap regulars, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, whereas Tom Hanks has some kind of computer brain, I guess. He can just sort of...
Maybe like Colin Hanks grew up. He's like, I love Big, Dad. I'm glad you're in Big. So it's on all the time, and it's like, fuck, my dad can recite Transformers movie off by art, and he's like, well, it's like it never went away. Let me get this straight, Dad. This adult woman fucked you as an 11-year-old in this movie. And that was cool. Who wrote this?
No one have a problem with that?
Is this film about noncing, Dad? Well, Brad, you were.
And he's like, well, son, this is the right way round.
It's like the cops from South Park. They're like, nice. Nice.
That was the joke I was going for. I wasn't.
Just constantly dodging cancellation, mate. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal.
So what happens if Duncan's not here to keep the fucking reins?
No, he's normally the one who's trying to get himself cancelled. You know, I'm the good boy. I'm the level-headed good boy. Swear, promise, totally.
I guess you can make fun of anything except people with like a weight issue. Duncan should know better.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Looking down on us, that son of a bitch.
The rest of us Argos have to get through in life. We don't need this bullshit. Well, Brad, you were just in for a cameo, mate, but you've done all of the Burbs.
I said I'll pop in for 10 minutes before you start watching the movie. And
that was the nice schedule in this film.
Yeah, you didn't even have the film on, mate. That is a fucking good effort.
I know.
No, look, that's not so clever. Don't give him too much credit. I've tuned into this lots of times.
I never fucking watch it.
Like, I know where they are. They're watching. Yeah, I know. Okay, I know this.
Yeah.
Brad's got like an internal
still in there.
What the fuck does Data have in his head?
Oh fuck!
Yes, the thing that makes him tell the time.
Chronometer. His internal chronometer.
Internal clock.
Captain, I have a thing inside my head that makes me tell the time. That's what he says.
It's a thing. He says "thing" with the
with an F. I have a thing inside my head. That's
thing in my head that makes me tell the time. A wolf is like a warrior's clock.
A warrior's clock. Today is a good day to tell the time. Well, we'll hang on. I haven't said anything, but I've been.
We'll hang on and talk about something other than the Burbs,
which is what we've done for the whole thing.
That's all we've talked about.
I've had quite a nasty toothache for the last 24 hours, which I've decided not to mention to the end. But I am going to take some Codamol and go to bed in a bit. But 10 minutes of hanging out and questions and shit. And everyone, you know. So, but I will sign off in a bit because I'm being miserable. I need to go and get some more ibuprofen from the shop.
I should be working, but
too late, Brad.
My producers aren't watching this.
Oh, here we go.
I fucked up when we did this before, guys. Where I was like, I had with the Dawn of the Dead when I could see me, and I was like, but I figured out if I put the whole screen over to the left slightly, I've just got the chat. So it's fine. I don't have to look at my fucking monstrous face.
You daft cunt. Steve Allen says, Brad, Richard and Mark.
I like to think that would be...
The Heffalump Man, the animated version.
Snuffleupagus Man.
Snuffleupagus, David Lynch's. Did you know Mel Brooks produced David Lynch's Snuffleupagus Man?
There's two guys inside me.
I sort of want to make that now. Right, Steve Allen, Brad, Richard and Mark, favourite Star Trek captain? That's a very tough question, I think. Captain Jellicoe, yeah, that's right. I'm going Ronnie Cox, baby. I'm getting my Captain Deep Cuts in. I don't even mean it. I just wanted to say that. That's tough. I think they're all kind of good, you know, if you don't count Discovery.
I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now, and I kind of want to see Andre Braugher as a captain.
Oh my god, he'd be so good. You saw that Deep Space Nine cut up. You seen that?
No.
Oh, what? You've never seen that? Yeah, Deep Space Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine like on Sunday.
Oh my god! God! I'm going to put that in our WhatsApp. Deep Space Nine-Nine is how it sounds.
Shit. That sounds like everything I could ever want.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, dude, is it not on YouTube? That's horseshit. I'll find it because I had it sent to me by our good mate Frank, and it's the intro to Brooklyn Nine-Nine cut to DS9. Dan. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
It's not Andre Braugher and Cisco because for some reason.
Well, kind of. In that he's in his thing. Did you guys watch Loki? Someone going to ask about Loki.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
It's good fun.
By the way, my answer to that other question is definitely Kirk. it wouldn't be, if it was Picard, it would only be TV series Picard, not movie Picard.
Yeah. Picard, fucking series to movie when he gets angry, he's like, fuck this, I like everyone now, so I'm gonna be a card.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill the boy.
Well, it's just kind of it's sort of like Zack Snyder's Superman versus Christopher Reeve's Superman. The difference between TV Picard and movie Picard.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
they cover it a little bit though, because like his whole thing is the distance, and then that goes away in the last episodes when we catch up with him in the films. He's a little connected and warmer to them, and then I think he lets his. I mean, and he really tried with the Borg. He tried everything. He was like, "Fuck, they're finally coming."
And that's about his trauma as well.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Look, all those fucking films, the characters or whatever the fuck they need to make the story work. Chekhov met Khan. That's
It's
like,
that's not a plot point. That's not a character change. That's not a character.
There's a pick and choose thing that happens. It depends if you like it. If you like it, you're fine. If you like Star Wars, then everyone's fine with whatever the fuck happened in the Last Jedi, and that's cool. But it's like the Empire Strikes Back thing, right? Empire Strikes Back's amazing. But I'll tell you a problem with that film. Did Luke learn to be Jedi in like fucking two hours in an afternoon? Or was the Millennium Falcon stuck in that fucking asteroid for 3 months and they all wore the same clothes? Like, which one?
Right.
Both are shit. The
Millennium Falcon had to travel.
So we'll let it go.
The Millennium Falcon had to travel to Cloud City without hyperdrive. That's where there has to be a long period of time. The Millennium Falcon does not have hyperdrive, so
that does add up. But they're mainly in the asteroid for the longest bit of time, right? That's
because the journey to
Luke could make rocks float now when he couldn't make a lightsaber go in his hand.
Microphone. he couldn't do karaoke at all.
but no, I think there's we'll mine for logical reasons in a thing.
We've said this a million times, Mark. Yeah. It's like if something engages you,
you're in.
None of that stuff matters.
If you're bored, you're like, that's the bad guy.
Yeah, all those things suddenly stick out like a sore thumb. You're not engaged. It's not actually about those things. It's about your general engagement.
Yeah, it's like the filmmaker thing, right? All we can do is make them make noises at certain points. They laugh there, they gasp there, they laugh there, they cry there. I can't make them like it, but I can make them do those. So, like that, whether you like it or not is entirely personal. I think Terry Gilliam had a thing with that with 12 Monkeys, where he said, the tests came back really bad, and he was like, they were fucking making all the right noises in all the right places. I think that was where I learned that on the Hamster Factor documentary. You're just like, oh shit, that's. Yeah, like you can make them make the noises, but you can't make them like it, and that's fine. But it's how it is, I think. But yeah, so I've always had that thing. So I don't know. I think with Empire Strikes Back, that's the thing that's always like kind of in my head. I've always wondered how long has how has time passed here for both these? There's not a real good answer for it. We just run with it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
It's what you're prepared to forgive.
I just saw a chat go through. Someone responded by asking me which TV Picard, next gen Picard, the Picard, or the robot Picard. I assume they're joking.
Robot Picard all the way, baby.
Robot Picard yet? Give us some time. It's amazing that Q is coming back to talk to essentially a tape recording.
Oh my god!
Picard is not Picard.
True. Well, I mean, just that in general. You know, some of the fucking, it had footage from Shutterstock in it. Did you know that? Picard. Yeah. Like there's kind of bits where it flashes to, the Romulans were afraid of robots. There's an AI, and there's flashes of like a robot and like bits of things that look like they might be stock footage. They're from Shutterstock.
It is stock footage. Yeah, I thought I was. Yeah.
It's really like someone dug it all up and compared it. It's like, fucking hell.
The amount of money they spend on those shows.
Someone said this is amazing. Oh no, come on, Mark, you can do better than that. Sorry, keep going. There we go. Someone messaged me and said, "Kurtzman at Shutterstock when the budget fell." I thought it was fucking hilarious.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
We're celebrating the life of Paul Winfield. That's what we're doing.
But no, I remember when that, like, it kind of spoiling Picard a little bit. Remember
Picard spoiled Picard, so don't worry about it.
where all the Romulans touched that thing and then started beating their fucking faces with rocks.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
I was like, guys, I just had to pause it and laugh it all out, but I don't think I'm meant to laugh. Shoots herself in the head.
It's just, oh god, she blows her brain. It's just like, yeah.
It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious.
It's like hitting herself in the head. And I was just like, all you saw was, turns out, footage from Shutterstock. I mean, I can relate.
Yeah, as someone who works in the commercial video,
It's like, who wrote that scene? The poor fucking intern who had to find all those shots and just got the first one from each page. Because when you search for those things, apparently it's the first one. It's like all those videos. It's not like
it's hilarious.
Page one of every.
I think my nephew has joined the chat. Steve, I just saw hi guys, hi Uncle Brad, and Stephen.
Oh, there you go. Oh, hi, hello, Steve.
Anyway, yes, that's hilarious. But yeah, no, Picard was awful in every respect. Literally, what was it? Took them 3 episodes to actually get into space.
More than that, man, because I think it was like 4, and then because what they did for the first 5 episodes is they repeated the same information over and over and over.
Yeah.
So they went to different places, but they just repeated the same information. So I think it was like 4 episodes to get them to space, but in the 5th episode, they were still just going like, a bad thing has happened. We must go to the place. I agree. Who is in the place? Jeff is in the place. Why is Jeff in the place? Jeff is in the place because a bad thing happened. Then we will go to the place over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. And it was only in the second half of the series stuff started to happen.
Those reshoots. So, right, because they were meant to get into space episode by episode 2, and they went back and went, oh shit, we need to drag this out, and then they reshot all that stuff.
Fuck's sake!
Like, yeah, I think
just do it as a 6-episode miniseries if that's all you've got. I mean, you know, luckily the rest was shit as well, so it all matches up. Top matches tails.
Like, it started so well.
Robots don't plan things.
Yeah, what's up with that? What is up with that? Like, really?
Well, they literally admitted. J.J. Abrams has literally admitted it from his own mouth.
What's this?
Bad robot not playing things. The Star Trek is by Secret Hideout, which is the essentially.
Yeah. Which is, we know. We know.
We know. They're not fooling us.
But J.J. Abrams basically admitted that the Star Wars sequels there was no plan, which we all knew. We could all.
If you just had to do the first one, it's like, ain't my fucking problem, mate. Yeah. And I kind of enjoy in The Last Jedi that Rian Johnson's like, I just want a scene where Luke and Leia get together again. So I know it's easier to lead her die because the actor died, but next film's not my problem. So fuck it, I'm having that lovely scene. So yeah, I kind of thought that was fine. Like, I don't hate The Last Jedi. People do. I don't hate any of the new ones. It's like in my head, it's like, do you know when you go to the Force.net?
I hate
just watch
those. I don't hate Last
Jedi.
I think Last Jedi has some serious issues and some moments that are pretty bad, but it's also got some moments that I really enjoyed, and I was quite excited about what they were doing. Rise of Skywalker is worse than Ewoks Caravan of Courage.
It is. It's offensively bad. I thought I don't like Rise of Skywalker, but I don't like Last Jedi, but I mostly found it boring. I thought it was weirdly paced and boring. Whereas Last Jedi is just like Rise of Skywalker.
You get bored of Daisy Ridley clicking in the mirror, and then hundreds of her do the same thing. It's great.
I've done that in a lift. You get a mirrored lift. I've done that.
I looked in that. I saw my parents.
Yeah, but was the timing off? Did the click come down?
That's true. Yeah, all the way back.
But yeah,
there's some cool visuals and stuff.
Abysmal.
Offensive.
Yeah,
like
offensively abysmal. Into Darkness, offensive.
Yes, good. You hear him, Mark? Into Darkness sucks.
It's very consistent, though. It's like in the first one, you're like, this is amazing, and then Simon Pegg shows up. Nothing wrong with what Simon Pegg does, but like the film's just not interesting from that point onwards. In the first one, it's just not interesting. Nothing happens in it. There's nothing to look forward to.
Well, it's amazing. It's also just bizarre. The moment the decision is made to launch Kirk to an ice planet,
Khan got a better deal.
Yeah. I'm like, what? And from that moment on, the movie's just not good. And yeah, it's a shame Simon Pegg turns up, and I enjoy Simon Pegg, but the movie's just collapsing at that point.
But the second one, I do think that, like, you know, how it starts, how it ends, it's all the same. The enjoyment factor is the same. I kind of find the references, the constant references, a bit cringe. Like, they're kind of like, oh god, that hurts. But and Alice Eve is the most agonizingly atrocious actor. She's like really, really bad, right? Is it just me, or is she just saying the words that were on the pages?
Well, I don't mind her. I have no opinion. The fact is, I have no opinion, and maybe that's worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I didn't care. But hey, Peter Wells,
he's great. He's great. I really like that.
You fucking talk to him, son. You shouldn't have talked. I told you not to talk. I should have. What do you talk to him?
He's actually quite scary. He's really imposing. Like, he's quite scary next to Chris Pine, isn't he? He casts quite an imposing figure, and he's got that deep voice as well. He's quite a scary dude in real life, I've heard.
Yeah, people were coming in with all the right comments. I'm seeing, like someone saying, I am Khan, and Kirk's response would have been,
yeah.
Literally, it almost looks down the barrel of the lens, like, my name is Khan.
Yeah, and he should have said, "Hi, Star Trek 2 fans, it's me, the returning character Khan," because it makes as much sense.
Really, what he was saying was, hi, people who have generally heard of Star Trek and know that Khan is a fan favorite. Yeah. That's who it was for. It wasn't actually for the fans. It was for the general populace that generally heard about Star Trek and know Khan is a thing.
Kirk should have gone, "You're Khan? But you're not a Mexican."
Yes, exactly. Yeah, precisely. You're really white. Are you sure? Your name is Khan. Like, what? Apparently there is some fucking there's some prequel comic they did where Khan gets white surgery, like in Die Another Day or something. There is some kind of it would seem, because like they did Star Trek Countdown, which is the one. Do you remember that, the comic that showed the jump between TNG to the Kelvin timeline? So they did that, and then I believe there's one that leads up to Into Darkness where he gets white man surgery or diamond face surgery, like in Die Another Day. Or whatever they do to make him from, because originally it was going to be Benicio del Toro for ages, and then it ended up being Benedict Cumberbatch, Bunderswanch. Yeah,
but it's okay. He got a better role in Star Wars.
Do you think they should have instead had him, instead of going, "I'm Khan," you should have said, "I'm only want to rescue and serve the man. The man I serve, who happens to be, he's a guy called, like, write it better than this. There's a fucking dude called Khan. He's my boss." And then everyone go, "Who's Khan?" And he goes, "Oh," and they look it up and they go, "Oh fuck, he was the fucking eugenics guy from."
Like they do in the Space Seed. They have to have the briefing in the Space Seed, and they talk about, and it's like, "Oh shit, he was Space Hitler, and he did all this." Blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
Lovely tease for him, wouldn't they? And you'd be like, "Oh, are we going to see him in a future film?" And it's like Peter Weller's ghost is like, "We can never let this fucker wake up."
Peter Weller's ghost.
Because
we can never let.
Kirk,
I'm a ghost, son.
The one moment where I thought maybe they were doing something clever was when they kind of joined forces with Khan, and I'm like, oh, is that what they're going to do? They, like, in this different timeline, they actually end up teaming up with Khan, and they become allies. And I thought that's the only interesting thing I can see happening here. But no, they didn't do that. They didn't do that.
But as
they injected a tribble with a dead tribble with his blood, and I went, "Oh no, you're not."
Yeah. Don't worry, film franchise. We've cured death. Nothing means anything.
I just literally, when it cut to that random moment, I saw exactly what they were going to do.
Do you think the Kurtzman movie about, like, he's going to be, like, making a movie about how you cure AIDS? It's like, here's the plan: you get a guy with AIDS, and you inject another person who doesn't have AIDS, and it'll cure everything.
There's a scene where Carl Urban injects AIDS into a dead kitten, and the kitten comes back to life. I fucking love Carl Urban as Bones, by the way. He's so fucking
absolutely.
good. The cast, actually, I really like the cast in the Kelvin timeline. Really good.
At first, that's the thing about the first one, where we're saying we can pinpoint the collapses, but the reason that no one really realized that at the time is the goodwill that the first half of the movie has set up, mainly due to the cast and how brilliant they are. that goodwill kind of smothers that first film.
Yeah.
So they carry that film. They totally carry that film.
Mm. Well, I don't mind. Like Star Trek Beyond is fine, but it's just like an adventure with the gang, and it has no consequences. It's just completely lightweight, and then they have to have him ride around on a fucking motorbike at the end. It's like,
I thought with that film, I think when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, they're just going to crash the Enterprise again. Okay, I did think that sequence was fucking amazing. Like, that sequence is really great. Like, I kind of
liked all the proto Federation stuff all linked back to Enterprise as well. There was good continuity shit in there. It was kind of an NX style starship and uniforms, because they were there. What were they called? Those, I can't remember what they called in Enterprise. They called Omax or something. That's from DC Universe. Whatever. Idris Elba's the member of. He's part of that thing from Enterprise. I'm explaining this very badly, but there's continuity. Okay, you just have to believe me.
But the one thing I found in a lot of modern sci-fi now, particularly in the Star Treks and the new Star Wars movies, and I kind of include Mandalorian in this as well, is the ships seem to be able to get to crash and get battered, and then be fine. You know, like they have crashes that you would be like, that thing can't fly again, surely. You know, the Millennium Falcon, when in Force Awakens, where it crashes into the planet-sized.
Shit's hundreds of years old.
You're like this. It's like that. Surely they're down now. They've got to fix this thing. But there just seems to be these. You know, the Enterprise is getting crashed and battered and, you know, sawn in half while it's in hyperspace. And
they've got a real boner. I mean, they've always had a boner for destroying the Enterprise.
They don't get that back there. That one's fucked.
Because they do it. You essentially get Enterprise A, Kelvin Universe Enterprise A at the end. Because they get that time. That time lapse is lovely when it shows the ship being.
It's great. Yeah, it's kind of odd. It's like, we're here already. Shouldn't. Okay.
Well, you know, we're never getting another one of those movies by the sound of it, so we'll never find out. It's all gonna. It would appear that's all sort of gone out the window.
They're talking about this fourth one, aren't they? Is that?
It keeps kind of, because Chris Hemsworth was supposed to come back. I think they were throwing him a ton of money, and they were going to do a timing thing. Chris Pine is technically no longer involved. He walked away from it because I don't think he's under contract anymore. So he did that thing of walking away. What that really means is you're going to have to renegotiate with me. So
I think I think it's also because they needed to drop the budgets because they were spending stupid amounts of money on these movies, and they weren't.
You know why? They had to drop the budget because Paramount spent all of their money on a Shutterstock stock subscription.
Absolutely.
It's £40 a month, mate. You mad? We're not making another Star Trek film. I spent it all on the first item on the first page when I searched robot.
Someone did the data. Someone tweaked the data makeup from Picard, and it looks amazing. It looks really good, and I was just like, yeah, that's what they should have done, because they got Brent Spiner in his sort of thing, and then they just didn't go the extra mile and just deep fake it. And it's not a deep fake. I don't think it is. I think someone's actually made it work and done the effects, and it looks fucking amazing. It's like, there we go, do that.
Well, that stuff was so promising as well. Yeah, it was just kind of like, that could be quite cool. Yeah. Like, the layup was quite cool, but the actual thing, and the whole fucking robot body thing was just like, what the Christ are you doing?
Don't kill him. That would not have been like.
So take away his space dementia or whatever as well. It's just like, what are you doing? Everything about it is so
have it for another year. Just let him get sick.
However,
but he's also not doing anything. He wasn't making any decisions. Wasn't doing anything. It was let's stick Picard in, but really we've got all these other new characters that are crap because these people don't know how to create characters, and they're pushing their new characters, and Picard's just sitting there going, yeah, I suppose so.
That captain with all the holograms was just, oh my god. It's just, and all the wacky accents, because I was just like, what are you doing? Someone stop him. Oh no, it's a Scottish one. No, not an Irish one. What are you doing? And it just kept happening.
I did love that character, but for the holograms, it's like, oh, look, if he can't do the accents, don't make him.
Yeah, like, whose idea was this? Like, get someone who can fucking do...
Surely he would... And he struck me, frankly, as the sort of guy who would have gone anti-woke. I just had all these like sexy women, and people should have been like, dude, why have you got so many like barely clothed people playing your doctors? And he's like, look, I'm normally alone. I didn't expect to have a fucking bunch of strangers on my ship. Fuck off. Like, and he can say fuck now because they do. You know. So
that's a
colourful metaphors are aplenty. But
and smoking big cigars and vaping weed. Those are the cool things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and complete body horror, torture, Hellraiser style.
Oh fuck yeah, Jesus Christ!
It's like remember when Star Trek used to be a family show?
Well, it's like your man from fucking Voyager getting his eye drilled out. You know, 7 and 9.
They eked into it a little bit though, didn't they? Because I remember when we saw when I rewatched DS9. There's stuff because obviously I used to watch it on BBC Two at 6, so anything edgy was cut out. I didn't realize there's one where they're assassinating all these old people from Kira's sort of like terrorist sect, and there's someone was killed in a transport, and there's just this fucking inside out burnt up husk of a person, and you see it, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Basically, they showed you what we got back didn't last long.
Yeah.
No, it always had. It would do these things. You had Russell Cuff crying out with the leeches going in the ears and all that stuff. So it had its freaky moments. It's hide behind.
But it wasn't. It didn't. It had moments. But it wasn't a mood.
You saw the first the spore drive thing that didn't work, and it's like the inertial dampers didn't work, so everyone was just minced into like a gloomy pile. And I went, oh, that's kind of cool. So like before we knew that they were going to start saying fuck 2 episodes later, I was just like, oh, this is really gory for Star Trek. Oh, this is exciting. It's a bit like Wrath of Khan. Like it felt kind of cool. And then then they just doubled down on it now, and everyone's like,
down on it, and then it turned into Hellraiser. And you're like, it's like no, come on, guys. But that's the art.
You can have
good execution. People who know how to traverse that line, how to do something that is for the family, is for kids. It's to it's not a kids show, but it inspires kids and it inspires imagination. But also dip in some horror. Make it a bit scary, make it a bit horror, and it's the skill of the filmmakers that traverse that line correctly. These guys have no idea how to traverse that line, no idea.
So there's horrible. The tone is awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a button on this because I need to go to the chemist before it closes.
Okay.
But I'm gonna cut to credits, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. It's always good to see you.
Thank you for letting me gate crash.
Oh, dude, no, thank you for sticking out for the whole time.
That's great, then.
But guys, we're going to cut to credits. Thank you for a lovely stream. It'd be lovely to have you guys back in any combination. When Duncan's back as well, perhaps we could have some kind of sexy foursome. Might be quite nice.
We essentially just had the chat that we would have if no one was around, but
essentially,
We've wasted all these lovely people's time.
Great.
Well, I'm going to sign off. We're cutting to credits. So if you'd like to speak now or forever hold your peace, I'll take us away.
All right. No.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. Cool. Well, Mark.
Sorry, everyone.
I'm so sorry. Just apologise.
What we can do is apologise. That's all we can do.
Talking like I'm having a chat with two mates, and I'm sure I'll cause more distraction than focused Burbs speak.
Oh yeah, the Burbs.
The
Burbs is great.
The what? Don't know what that is. Okay, here come the credits, guys. Love you and leave you. See you next week.
See you later.